kind of blessed me. Oh, okay.
Hello.
So are we all ready?
So we're going active live then, or?
Yeah. If we're all ready.
I'm super live,
All right,
actually.
well, let's go live.
Okay, sweet. Then I guess it was me. Okay, thank you again, Squatch. Hey guys, it's SlaveToTheGames, and I'm here with another discussion about Scum with my friends, Cha0ticrob.
Oh!
Completely average gaming. Okay, I'm glad we got the unique opening here. And basically what we're going to do in this stream is talk about more facts, discuss the facts, debate about the facts, and also answer your questions. So without further ado, do we have any questions right off the bat that you guys want to implement, or do you want me to just throw in a random fact and we'll go from there?
Who are you?
Random fact it is! Okay, so basically, as we know right now, the confirmed animals from which I've seen are bears, bunnies, deer, birds, wolves, donkeys, cows, and then there are some other ones, including fish, that I have yet to exactly confirm, but these are ones I know for a fact are going to be in the game. Do you guys have anything that you think should be in the game, or anything you think should be left out?
Don't forget about the horse that they're going to be adding during EA.
Yes, there is that as well. Actually, I'm pretty sure the horse is already there, isn't it? And they're going to be adding the riding implementation in EA?
Oh, okay.
I
I thought they
thought
were
that
going
was
to be
the
adding
It
the
could be
horse.
either way, though. It could be either way.
I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I also had that impression.
The one that I had, or that Cha0ticrob had?
That the horses will be in the game, but you can't ride them from the get-go.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to be in the game at release. It's just you couldn't ride them until EA when they implemented the animal handling. Which, by the way, Cha0ticrob, just to let you know, it is actually going to be called animal handling and not animal taming.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it's because what they plan to do, going a little bit off topic instead of going straight down the list, is making it to where you can, depending on how much they like you and how high your animal handling skill is, will determine what you're going to be able to do with them. Now, this isn't obviously confirmed because they were just talking about it, but they were mentioning that if they do this, that they were thinking about implementing an affinity. Is that how you say it? An affinity with them. There we go.
An affinity.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah, they plan on implementing an affinity feature with each of your pets, is I believe what they're going to be called, instead of just tames. And depending on how much they like you, you could actually use them to scout, maybe, is what they were saying.
That's pretty cool.
Other than just basically riding them or maybe using them as a farm, like for, obviously eggs, maybe from chickens, milk from cows. Is there anything that you would like to see added in terms of animals?
Well, if they do farming, it'd be interesting if they implement a kind of fertilizer you can get from animals.
Okay, that would make sense. It's perfectly
Something you
logical.
can make into a fertilizer. Yeah, sure. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I really hope they add in the Sasquatch.
Again, you bring the Sasquatch up again. You really want this?
Yeah, like as we talked about last time, as a event gimmick, I think it would be awesome. And it was Squatch's idea, and I'm trying to lean into him. Come on over to me.
Okay, if it's an event, I can definitely.
Welcome to the dark side.
They should give the Sasquatch more speed so he can chase down prisoners easier.
That would be terrifying. Can you just imagine that? You're sitting there, and all of a sudden you just see a Sasquatch come sprinting out of the woods at you. I'm just gonna say, all three of us are gonna die, and Syntex is definitely gonna leave our asses behind as he runs away. He's gonna be sprinting with his full endurance.
And don't forget, Sasquatches can climb as well. So that's one thing they have up on Puppet.
What would we have climbed in the first place to get away from him?
I just want to say that Squatch is over here.
Going on top of one of the hangars, or getting on top of one of the buildings.
Going on the topic of climbing, guys, since that will be something implemented in the game, do you think that'll actually mean you'll be able to climb trees or mountains, kind of like rock climbing or tree climbing, etc.? Or do you think it's going to be just your vaulting skill over things?
Well, they did say that vaulting will be available at launch.
Yeah, it will be,
and
but
that
do you think
they
they'll
will
expand on it?
And that they do have parkour planned for during the EA. So being able to climb on top of buildings, being able to climb up trees, being able to essentially do like a running jump and pull yourself up from the edge of a roof kind of thing. those kind of
You'll be able
things.
to climb.
Well, exactly. I have a feeling they're going to implement a skill similar to what you would see in D&D called acrobatics.
Okay, so do you think the climbing skill that they have is going to be the acrobatics/parkour skill? Or do you think it's going to be labeled to just climbing trees or mountains?
I could see it being something similar to parkour.
Okay, because at the same time, you could also say that the climbing skill could be used for, like, maybe use, like, a rope with a grappling hook and throw it up on a building and climb it or something like that?
Yep.
Like, maybe faster ways to get on top of buildings, like this, that'll be the climbing feature, maybe? What do you think, completely average?
I think it's going to be awesome.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so it seems like you wanted to say something again, Cha0ticrob. Anything else you wanted to add to that?
Oh, I was just saying, if they change it, like, the name of the skill from climbing to acrobatics, I think it would definitely make it a lot more... I don't want to say realistic, but it makes a lot more sense if they're going to be implementing these additional features with the climbing.
Yeah, but I mean, again, they could always just add a new skill and call it parkour or something.
True, true.
Yeah, because climbing could be just literally, like we said, climbing rocks or climbing a tree or something. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's... I mean, it's very limited what it could be, right? It says climbing.
Maybe it's rock climbing, like climb up by a mountain.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe that or climbing trees, like, one of them. It has to be one of these, because if they go parkour, then I definitely believe they should change it. If it's like, okay, climbing is actually parkour, but we're just going to call it climbing, then it should be changed to parkour, because sure, you're climbing things, but come on.
Parkour is also cool.
Parkour or acrobatics.
I mean, just imagine, like, you see
cooler.
somebody just front flip over, like, one building to the next, and they're like, oh my god, parkour! Like, no. I was climbing.
Yeah. I was climbing across that.
Advanced climbing skill.
Well, the reason why I would call it acrobatics is because you're technically stunting when you're doing something like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, technically you're climbing, technically you're also stunting, like, there's a lot of things, but, like, if you just imagine it being actually parkour, but calling it just climbing.
Yeah, that'd be a little weird.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay. Now, moving on to weather, unless somebody here has a question from the audience. I do not. Okay.
Nope.
The Tech 1 producers, if you guys don't already know, are actually going to be able to change the weather whenever they want to, at the flick of their wrists. They're also going to be able to cause forest fires, earthquakes, and floods. Also, they're going to be able to send genetically modified pests, like mosquitoes, bees, etc., which will eventually be added into the game, either on release or later on, of course, in the EA phase, etc. Like, everything here is either in the EA phase or at launch, let's be honest here. And these bees / whatever pests they are going to also possess bioweapons.
As in, like, viruses and whatnot, or what do you mean by bioweapons?
Well,
pests.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. You got this.
Well, pests at least.
Yeah.
Well, you said the pests would carry bioweapons.
Yeah, the pests would carry
like
bioweapons.
Insects.
Yep. So what I take from this is that
will that also, like, maybe my understanding of the English language is just limited, but would that also include stuff like rats and mice and such?
I'm assuming it's going to. They haven't really specified exactly all the pests they'll be adding. They just said they would be adding pests and they would be carrying bioweapons eventually. So whether the bioweapons is like a machine gun that shoots a specific disease or something that would normally not be allowed in warfare on the back of a alpaca or something.
I'm not sure if,
I don't know.
Have you guys heard of 2 Point Hospital? Wouldn't it be awesome if you
had a messed up game?
Yeah, but imagine if this bioweapon gun that Slave is going on about. Imagine if that was fitted with some 2 Point Hospital diseases like lightheadedness.
I'm assuming it's just going to be like you said, rats or mosquitoes that just carry an illness or something.
But wouldn't that be cool?
You want to know? It'd be hilarious.
It would be cool, yeah. Before you do that, Sasquatch actually replied and said something, and they ended up saying Sasquatch is a genetically modified pest. So there we go, guys. Lore explained.
He's one fast bugger. When you see him, run the hell away and hope.
Of course, he's got to be 10 feet tall too.
Yeah.
Now, also, if you guys didn't know, this is something that I believe most people do know, and it's that there's going to be 4 seasons, of course. And you're going to be able to see snow, rain, different weathers, and it's not just going to last 5 seconds where you run into a house and you just wait that 5 minutes, and then it's gone for, like, the next 8 to 12 hours of real-life time. Like, it's actually going to apparently feel like these storms are going to last. Like, the snow is going to snow for a while, etc. They're going to try to simulate actually being in a weather to where you're not just, okay, well, just going to take cover real quick and then go out and continue my day. Like, you're going to actually have to suffer in these weathers if you're not prepared for them.
With that in mind, have they stated how long each season will be in the game? Like, how many in-game days?
They have not, but earlier you were right with saying that the in-game days are going to be 6 hours of real-life time for every 24 hours of SCUM time. 4 hours a day, 2 hours a night.
Hey, Demaster.
And obviously they said that they could change this, but they would really prefer if they didn't have to, and actually people enjoyed it. I think there won't be a problem with the amount of time.
Yeah, the day-night cycle seems pretty stable to me.
Do you guys have anything that you want to add to the web? Maybe some things you'd like to see?
Tornadoes.
Well, I mean, that could go into the cause of forest fires, earthquakes, and floods, like, because it's genetically, they're modifying the geoscope pretty much. They're changing the weather here by the flick of their wrist. So I'm assuming they'd be able to make a tornado if they wanted to, right? If they can do earthquakes, floods, and forest fires, I'm sure a tornado isn't that far out of the question.
Well, think about it this way. The wind mechanics that a tornado would provide would make shooting any gun ridiculously hell. Not to mention just trying to keep your feet on the ground because of the gale force winds trying to lift you up and trying to throw you around.
You also have to look out for the flying horses and cows and such.
Yeah,
I got it, guys. Oh, hey, flying pigs, guys.
Yes.
How about spider pigs?
Maybe that's why the climbing is there. A tornado happens, you have to climb a tree and hold on to it. Just saying.
Yeah,
the tornado comes.
Very intricate. You know, a lot of game design going into just adding tornadoes.
Yeah. So I don't know, because like I did say, they will eventually have forest fires, earthquakes, and floods. Whether it's confirmed to be at release or not, that's up for debate. If it is, then I don't know. Do you guys think that it should be added at release, or do you think they should wait until it's optimized more of the base game before they start trying to mess with things like that?
Optimize base game, then implement.
Yeah,
I feel the same way.
It would be the best implementation.
Great, let's just agree the rest of the night and this...
I thought... let's agree for the rest of the night and everything will be amazing.
Yeah.
No, people like seeing us disagree sometimes.
Yeah. We didn't agree on anything before we started streaming. I just want to point that out.
We were just messing around and disagreeing on everything.
The Master is saying, the ADS seems way too quick, don't you think? There should be a transition to aiming down sight, not instantly.
Huh. Well, I mean, if it is really instantly, then I definitely feel like there should be a transition to where you actually, like, if you're in first person, you actually see your person kind of do a lean in. Because they do lean in third person, so they should simulate that as well if you're in first person, showing your character kind of lean or something into the aim or something like that, or into the scope.
Yeah, because otherwise there's going to be a situation of quick scoping happening way too often.
Yeah, and SCUM is also building up to becoming a realistic game, and you don't instantly get your sights up, or your sights on target for that matter.
I can, however, go on the developer's side of this and then say that they already have a ridiculous amount that they're trying to implement. So it most likely is going to be implemented. I definitely think they're going to implement it because of how realistic they're aiming for this game to be. It's just, it may not be the first thing on their list because they already have so many things listed that they want to get done. And it's obviously things could have different priorities. And I mean, this may be a big priority, but things like fortifying the bases are probably going to be one of the bigger ones that they're going to be working on first. Optimizing the servers, optimizing the characters, the rendering, the world as you're running through it, the amount of people that are in it. Like, basically, I'd say the biggest thing they're going to be worrying about at the start is rendering and the characters in the world and how well the server does. And then after that, they'll kind of do like a de-escalating plan of what should go next. Were you going to say something completely average?
Squatch says skills come into play. Gun skill, the more dexterity or dex, the faster you draw a weapon. Strength with will lower the recoil. I asked him if it was... Is this confirmed for the early access?
This is confirmed in terms of strength and dexterity, because dexterity and strength, those are both passive skills for both of them. So the higher your dex, the faster you would reload. It doesn't matter about the skill you choose. It also, depending on whatever gun you choose to specialize in or become proficient in, that should also increase how fast you reload it, in my opinion. If it's not just related to only the dex, it should also be related to how proficient you are with each gun. So like, you're faster because your dex is up for reloading a gun, but say you're more proficient in a gun, you're faster than a regular person who just has max dex and using a gun they're not trained in, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think by adding those two factors together, it should significantly decrease the amount of time it takes to reload. And then the strength is obviously how strong you are, decreases the amount of recoil, and I believe these are both, from what I've read and everything I've seen, are confirmed to be at release in terms of the passive skills.
In terms of guns, just one thing that I'm curious about, I'm not sure if it's been brought up at all in the game, but with gun maintenance, have they stated whether or not it's just going to be like a click on the gun and then click another button to be able to maintain? Or are you going to actually have to have a maintenance kit for your gun?
I have not been able to confirm whether you're going to need a maintenance kit or something like that. I'm pretty sure you are going to need some form of tools to be able to keep your gun clean and, you know, up to date, not jammable, fixed, made sure that it's in a peak top condition. I don't think you'll just be able to take it, spit on it, and rub your hand to make it better or anything, or just jump in the water to wash off dirt, because obviously, like we talked about, they might implement water logging or something like that.
I really hope they implement stuff to make the game, or implement a toolbox in order to allow you to clean your weapon properly. That will, I think the whole aspect of adding you have to take care of your weapon is going to add a lot more ownership to each weapon, because, you know, it becomes the whole army thing with there are many rifles like it, but this rifle is mine.
Yeah.
Don't you dare touch it. And I can just imagine handing my weapon off to SlaveToTheGames, and I get it back all greasy. You know, he's been out.
It's obviously Cha0ticrob who would do that.
Oh no.
Hey, he doesn't even get there. But pretty much for me, I think in terms of maintenance with the gun, cleaning it, I really hope that they actually make it to where you actually like do something more than, like, say you just get a kit and it's like, oh no, my gun's dirty. Well, guess I'll use this kit. And it's just like, okay, I'm good to go. Like, I hope it's not just a, you know, like a bandage animation where you just wrap your arm. Or in this one, it's just rubbing your gun with a cloth, and then it's done after like 3 seconds. It is perfectly like pristine, you know. I hope it's like, I hope it has some feature that actually simulates you cleaning the gun.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they had an animation where it shows you disassembling the gun and then cleaning the individual components and then reassembling it.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that in-depth. I would still like it if they went in-depth, but it doesn't have to be that in-depth. It's just something a little more than just, okay. I mean, at least in my opinion. Do you got a question, Completely Average?
Not a question, but a sort of question, I suppose. A statement, more like. The master says, yeah, the smoothness of the game is really the most important aspect. If you get low frame rates with good specs like in PUBG, you're not going to enjoy the game. LOL. And I want to say that, you know, if you don't want instant aiming, lag can be your solution as well.
Okay.
That deserves a little bit more of a laughter, didn't it? Thank you. The Master also says, guys, did you notice the grenade at the end of the stream didn't explode? I mean, it looked more like a flashbang than a frag. Bug?
I did notice that. I did actually watch that and saw it at the end.
I think it might be a situation where he forgot to pull the pin.
Maybe. I mean, from what I saw, it didn't look like he pulled the pin, but at the same time, he also held it for a really long time, and it didn't explode in his hand, so maybe you do actually have to pull the pin. You have
a grenade, you grab it like this, you pull the pin, and you can hold it like this until you throw it.
Oh, no, what I'm saying is he did this. He, like, aimed after pulling, and then put it away. And then took it out again to throw it another time, the same grenade.
Yeah, but your grenade pouches has pockets in order to keep the thing in.
After pulling it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, we're good then.
Like,
okay, so...
In real life, you probably wouldn't have chosen to do it that way, but, you know.
Yeah, because like I said, he pulled it, and he was walking for, like, a good, like, 15, 20 seconds, and then it was like, okay, nope. And then like he pulled it out again, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then he threw it, and like the Master ended up saying, if it did go off, which I'm pretty sure it did, it was like a this. Like it was like a boom. It was like a.
Then, I honestly I didn't see this. Then I would say maybe it's a shock grenade rather than a flash.
Oh, it was definitely a grenade. It was definitely a grenade.
Yeah, but a shock grenade.
Oh, okay, the type of it, yeah.
Because a flash is bright light and in your ears, while a shock grenade is just a little light and, you know.
I mean, this could be, but
well, it could have been
from how they explained it was like a grenade, like a regular one.
Oh, I was just saying it could have been a concussion grenade.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe that's the same.
Maybe that's the same as a shock grenade.
It could have been, but with this, and that is the same as a shock grenade, by the way. It's the same for you. But basically what this is, he actually used a regular grenade. Like, they said it was a regular grenade. It wasn't a special type of grenade or anything. Like, he threw a regular grenade. And it just... The explosion didn't seem natural for a grenade, is the best way to put it. Or, the flash that we all saw, we just made up in all of our minds, and it just didn't go off because he didn't pull the pin.
Well, the flash might have also just been it bouncing off the cement.
It could have been. I mean, it could have been any number of things, really, honestly.
Maybe it was a dud.
Could have been that, too.
That would have been a fun aspect.
The point is with that, though, is it wasn't all that impressive if it did go off right now. And it was a base grenade, so that's why people are probably wondering, like, was that supposed to go off? Did it go off? And I only saw a flash, like, that's why people are questioning that.
Maybe
then, moving on from this, actually has some... things about the character customization, about how the tattoos in it. There's actually going to be 4 tattoo styles at launch, so 4 different ones, and then there's going to be 5 different skin colors, and then 4 different head types. Although, before I finish this and then let you go in, Cha0ticrob, I'm not completely sure that every single one of these will be 100% available at launch. It's just that by looking at the screen on the character customization, you could see notches for each one, which you would slide the slider onto each one to change whatever head, tattoo, and skin color you're using.
When it comes to the tattoos, I think it'd be nice if they implement a system that allows you to reposition the tattoo on the person. So they're not actually adding any additional tattoos, they're just allowing you to reposition it to make it look like a new tattoo.
I'd put mine in the forehead.
There is actually a tattoo on your character's face, so if it doesn't allow you to position the tattoos, there's actually one of the four selections on your face, because in the stream, it actually showed the guy having the tattoo on his face.
But I would want to be able to mod in my own tattoo, and have CAG written all over here.
That'd be pretty cool. I totally do it. SyntexToxy on the back.
Chaos.
I do it on the back because most of the time I'm getting chased by people, and I take my shirt off as I run so they can read it. And I'm like, SlaveToTheGames, subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, and I'll just kind of like keep getting smaller and text on all the different things they can see me on.
Yeah.
Just have a little embroidery on your shirt kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Just on my skin.
I just want to point out, as a little bit of a digression, because we never do those.
Yeah.
Just realize that in terms of, if we were to put ourselves in Harry Potter type of scenarios, you'd be a slave to the game, you'd be Hermione Granger, then we have Chaotic being Harry, and me being Ron.
Why do I gotta be Hermione?
Oh, I don't know.
I destroy everything.
Okay, fine. I guess I'll be the Hermione of the group.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from the fact I'm apparently a fictional girl, is, they will actually, eventually have, oh no, before I go to that, you guys remember how I talked about the flaws, the crime, and, the gear?
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, going back to that, I actually did talk to a developer, and, they ended up saying that the crime is actually pretty much just kind of for laughs and giggles. They actually don't have anything planned to, implement it into the game for bonuses or for anything other than just haha, like this was my crime, ha.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so
But
I was like, okay, I'll change that and make sure that people know that that is just straight up just for giggles.
But what about the gear section in character creation?
Still unknown at that point. I haven't got information on that.
Okay.
And also, don't you think it becomes a bragging rights situation where, this is my crime? I'm much cooler than you because you just did some petty thing. Like,
are you saying that it should be implemented to where there's more crimes than you can choose from, or what are you saying?
Yeah.
Like, I get the bragging rights, but do you say there should be more crimes and you can be like, okay, well, I did this.
Yeah.
That's how I got here.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you killed a chicken? I hit a person with my car.
Yeah, like that.
Okay, I get it.
All the way.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got a question.
Yeah, cool.
More Jaco has
Nice job.
Yeah, probably nailed it.
Why isn't free trial time before you play? And then question mark. So, if you want to go into that, Slave.
What?
Is there free trial play?
They're wondering why isn't there a free trial time before you buy?
You mean
Like what?
the
A
early
demo? Like
okay,
you
you're
can-
saying like where they could play 3 days before deciding if they want to purchase the early access or the full game?
Yeah, I think so. Something about that.
Probably because they're releasing it in early access, and since they're doing that already, it's kind of like you're getting the game cheaper than already when it comes out, though it's only going to be $10 more or $20 more on release, but you're still getting it earlier. I definitely think that other than doing that, I think they want to be able to raise as much money as possible for this game. And I guess a 3-day trial would work, because sure, within those 3 days you can decide if you want it or not. But standing from their point of view, damn. Anyway, standing from their point of view, they're gonna want people to buy the game as much as possible. So they could do a free trial, and I'm not saying that they won't or that they can't or anything, because obviously they could if they decided to.
I would say.
But since it's 7 days away, I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're actually going to at all. I think they're just going to keep it to early release, and you're going to be able to buy it in early release or wait till the game comes out and buy it then. Because, like I said, I think it just has to do with the fact that most games that come out in early access don't really have free day trials. Though, again, on Xbox and I believe on PlayStation and maybe even on Steam or any other computer site that you can go on to buy PC games, there is occasionally days where they release a game for like the weekend and you can play it for free. So maybe that becomes a thing. But again, I still think it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're probably going to do like a 3-day demo weekend or something halfway through the EA, probably.
They might, but I don't think it's likely.
Half a year to a year from now. At least, as far as I can tell, business-wise, it's very risky business to offer 3-day trials, obviously, because some people will end up deciding not worth the money. And so would, regardless of how well the game is actually made, the game can be working flawlessly, it can be working towards every spec that was ever planned, announced, or implemented. Everything could be just dandy, but some people will then be, alright, I played for my 3 days, and
then just stop.
Yeah, and that's enough for me. Which
and
means
then another thing,
the developers have spent a ton of resources making a game that you just got to play till you were done with for 3 days, and then the developers are left with nothing.
another thing to add to that is the fact of, like, say you buy the game, there's a certain amount of time you're going to be able to refund the game if you don't like it. And this isn't, I'm not saying this is their, I'm not saying that this is their motivation or anything, but if you buy the game and you play it for, say, those 3 days that the trial would be, you're not going to be able to refund it because it's past the amount of time that you put into the game.
No, this is after the purchase.
Yeah, exactly. It's longer than the time that is required for you to be able to rightly refund it and not seem like you just got the game and was like, nope, want my money back. I don't want to do this. Like,
I don't think that's correct. I think you can play a free trial and then buy the game and then decide no.
Oh no, Slave is talking about.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
the other way around. He's
saying they buy the game and then they refund it within like the first 2 hours. You can get your refund, but if you go longer than that, you're not going to be able to get your refund back because you put a certain amount of time into the game. And I think this is why there may not be a free trial as well, because if you get the game, say you play it for the 3 days that normally if it was available for a free trial, you'd have in this sense. Now you can't refund it, and they actually get to keep the funds for this. Obviously, I'm not saying they're greedy for money, but this is also a great way to look at it in terms of, as a business, like you said, now they won't lose the money of the refunds.
It sucks
They'll
to
be
admit.
able to keep the money they get from it.
It sucks to admit, but, you know, these are business people. They need to make money in order to make more games, more awesome games. More games we can sit here and talk about for, you know, how many hours have we done this total now? Like 10, 12?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
And in order for them to do that, they need to make a profit and need to make a large enough profit in order to make shareholders and stakeholders happy as well. And the employees working there need to be able to take some time off and rest and, you know, get their, I want to say shit together after working day in and day out for years in order to make the game happen.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Some streamers just want action, not a survival game. How do you think this will work for these types of players? Well, they have to gain fame somehow in order to join certain game modes. And I can actually answer this with the citizen mode that they'll be eventually implementing, depending on whenever that comes out. Basically what it is you come in as a citizen into the game for 3 of the in-game days, and you will actually be tasked with hunting down other prisoners to gain fame. And you'll be able to choose between certain gear and weaponry that will allow you to successfully hunt these people down, because there's going to be more numbers than you. It's going to be you and maybe they'll add a couple other citizens, but it's basically going to be you against an island of prisoners who are surviving there and constantly competing to survive. And not only that, you're going to have a ton of gear that's high tier that they won't easily be able to obtain. So sure, you'll have to risk. It's a risk/reward type. If you don't want to play the survival in the long haul, you could do this short version where you jump in and you kill as many people as you can and escape on the 3rd day, hopefully. If you don't escape on the 3rd day, you have to stay until the next extraction that comes for the citizen. However, if you do, you get the fame points, you bring the guns back, and you're safe and you're good to go, and you didn't actually have to stay as long as the prisoners do.
There is another option, just participating in events a lot when you come into the game and focusing most of your gameplay on events.
That's true.
You could say that there are going to be things like trial rations and whatnot, like military or whatever they're called.
Yeah, you could hypothetically, like you said, just jump in, log on, and just do
stuff you earn from the events.
Yeah, you could do that too as well. Instead of doing focusing on the survival and doing events when you want to, do it the opposite way and focus on the events and then have survival be like the secondary thing, or just not even do it at all and just keep going to events. However, you're going to need to earn fame points in order to go into events, because there's a fee to buy a ticket that will allow you to go into these certain events. However, it should be fairly easy, since this is actually a new fact that I actually got up. Everything you do in the game, from looting to searching through things to eating to cooking things to killing, etc., earns you fame no matter what you do. Plus note here, if you destroy the drones, you'll actually earn fame as well. So that's kind of 2 facts in one. You can destroy the drones and you earn fame by doing it. So pretty much everything you do, even just surviving, gives you fame, so it should be fairly easy to save up the points to get to an event, unless, of course, you're being griefed or trolled by somebody. I got a question here saying, I actually got 2. First one is, will you have to spend fame to be the civilian, though? That I am unsure of. Do you guys know that? I actually don't believe you will, but obviously maybe you do need to have played the prisoner for a certain amount of time to do it. But as far as I know, I don't think anybody here actually has an answer to that.
No, I'm thinking the citizen thing might be a little short-term thing that you can go into as kind of like a demo version of the game, not as a
maybe that could
demo.
be the free trial. Maybe that could be the free trial.
I doubt it's going to be a free trial situation.
No, I doubt it too.
I have a feeling it's probably going to be something like different game modes you can choose from the main menu kind of thing.
Completely average?
I come from a different role of life. I agree that it's probably going to be something you can choose from, sort of like a main menu sort of scheme. But I think it's going to be, you have to play the game for, say, 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour, something like that, before you unlock it. And then you get to play as a citizen, once you've mastered the base mechanics of the game.
I also got another question before we go into another one, and that's, are all customization to the characters free? Now, I'm going to assume this means when you customize your character at the beginning, is this going to be free? Would you be able to perhaps word this a little bit differently? I'm not sure I quite understand the question.
While you're getting a reorganization of the question, I got one as well.
Okay.
We briefly touched upon this a couple of times before in other streams, I think. The master says, these weird-ass drones flying above players really do give away someone's positions, right? Like when I'm looting and I see a drone flying around the house 20 meters away from me, I can assume there's a player.
Actually, I can actually answer this better. There won't be a drone constantly following every player. What will happen is the drone will actually fly in on somebody with the most fame in, say, an area, and look at them. And then it'll follow them for a little bit. Kind of like, because the audience would be watching them. It would follow them for a little bit, and then it'd fly off to go find the next person with fame. And it'd do it like that. So it won't constantly be like one drone per prisoner. And then also that, to quickly go back to, if you destroy the drones, just go back there. If you do destroy the drones, they're going to drop high-quality resources that you'll be able to use. And, Chaotic Rob, this actually answers one of your questions. You will be able to use this to, per se, craft ammo.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
But
we'll actually be able to craft your own
ammo station. Like
I am not sure, but I do
point.
know you will be able to craft your own ammo.
Nice.
Yep. Okay, and I still do not have a reply from D Unskill, but as soon as you are able to reorganize how that is, and maybe in a different way, might be able to understand and hopefully be able to answer your question. I'm sorry I'm not able to answer it right now, but I will answer it as soon as you send it again.
I think what is the Unskill?
D Unskill says, are all customization to the character free?
Yeah, don't you think it means all the customization in terms of fame? Can you customize your character without spending fame, like putting different tattoos on?
If you put it this way, if when you create your character at the start, all of that, like creating your prisoner, is most definitely going to be free.
Yeah.
Now, buying like weapons and gear and maybe clothing and stuff like that in game, like to change how you look or to upgrade your guns or something in a safe zone, that's going to cost fame points.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also going to the medical base in safe zones to heal anything or anything really in the safe zones that you can purchase things for is all going to cost in-game currency of fame. And
just keep in mind, right now, they don't have any plans for in-game microtransactions or anything like that.
No, there won't be microtransactions. There's any plans. Like, they do not want
I'm saying there's no plans for microtransactions.
Oh, okay. Sasquatch says, it almost looked to me as if you linger slowly, the drone will watch you longer. But if you run away from this drone fast enough, it might just fly off. That actually could be very viable because at the same time, you will be able to eventually stealth and then stay away from these drones or hide from them to where they can't actually see.
Just keep in mind, during events, from time to time, players will actually be able to control the drones. So they'll be able to decide how long they want to stay on a person kind of thing.
Or try to stay on a person.
Yeah. Because if they have stealth or, like you said, sprint away, they could effectively get away from these drones. And there might be places that the drones can't actually go in the world.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And also you could also technically jam the drones, because they mentioned jamming the VCU on the players. and then causing their heads to explode, because if the BCU is jammed and there's no signal being sent, it sends off the signal to explode. Yeah.
I still think Ice Air is going to be hilarious.
We will not bring up, other than the fact that it's a 5-star on Yelp for service, and we will bring people. AI controlled drones. Yes, the drones for the most part will be AI controlled, but they can be controlled by players as well. From what Cha0ticrob says, I want to be able to go look more into that, because can you do more than just fly around and look? You can control them, you know what I mean? Like, could you theoretically help people?
I would imagine you could.
Well, yeah, you could use the drone as kind of a spotter for a team you kind of like more.
I did
give away the position of some of the enemy team people or whatnot.
I did mention how the drones could be used, if you're a player, to kind of spend fame points and give it to whichever player you view as someone who is deemed worthy of having these fame points. Like, maybe you can take the fame points that, maybe like there's some way you can earn fame points as a drone. Like, if you like stay in action more as a drone for the audience, you'll earn fame points as the drone controller, and then can give fame points to whoever you like out of the players you've been watching. Maybe that could be a thing.
Well, it could be a situation where the more people you get in your cam at once would allow you to get more fame points. Say if you get one of the 10 people in the event in the cam, you get 10 fame points. You get another person in the cam, you get another 10 or 11 or something, giving an incentive to move around a lot more rather than staying on one person.
And did I also mention that other than going with players, from what I've seen of the streams, it actually seems like there's going to be more puppies/puppets AI in this game than games per assistant like Miscreated, DayZ, H1Z1's Just Survive. It seems from what I've seen of them that you stumble across these puppets very easily.
Yeah, they are quite common from what I've seen.
Also, I did see 2 sentries, as they're called. I'm not too sure if Mr. Smiles is a sentry or if the sentries are just a separate thing. But there's 2 sentries confirmed to be at the airport, at least.
Yes.
And I don't know if they're Mr. Smileys. Does anyone know if the Mr. Smileys are sentries, or if Mr. Smileys is a different robot?
Well, based on the trailer robot, it looks very similar to the robots that we see in the in the stream that they showed us a couple days ago.
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, you remember these? 1, different topic. 2, reply.
Yeah. That's why.
Frequently plays. Welcome back. I think he or she has been here for all the streams.
Nice.
Is asking, are there going to be armor types in SCUM?
There is going to be damage depending on what you're wearing as far as clothing.
It's gonna be what?
Damage resistance is going to be in the game, depending on clothing or armor you're wearing. So, in a way, yes.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Okay, and
we also have Phil Oak-Pettis back.
Nice. Glad that they stopped by.
Yeah.
Okay, and as far as that goes, when you enter a server, because I talked about logging off in the previous server beforehand, but when you re-enter the server, you're not going to be in the exact same spot you left in. You're going to be in the same area, but you're going to be a little bit away from where you left.
Oh, okay. So if you log out in your, say, like, safe hut or whatnot.
Well, no. If you log... Oh, okay. You got a reply. We'll go for that, and then we can continue this.
To the last one. Mr. Smiles is a unique boss.
Okay, so the sentries and Mr. Smiles are different. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Wait, so does that mean Mr. Smiles is more lethal?
Probably, yeah, since he's a unique boss. Because they did mention in the stream Mr. Smiles being a big boss type tier thing. But then I saw that there was more of these robots on the airport, and I was like, wait, are they the same thing and it's just like 2 big bosses? Or like, is it going to be like the more secure an area is, the more important an area is, the more Mr. Smiles they're going to be or something like that? But now that it's confirmed that there's a Mr. Smiles and sentries, that is actually more interesting. I actually do like that, how it's just something, there's unique enemies in this as well.
Just watch Mr. Smiles be like.
I got a question here.
Just want to point out that the confirmation came from Revieri.
Okay.
Which is that? I figured, you know, some credit is due worthy.
Thank you, Revieri, for explaining that to me. I actually wanted. And Squash says, thoughts on death being able to select zone in which you spawn in. So pretty much, to go on this, when you die in the game, you can obviously spend fame points. We all know that to get unlimited skills back and keep your gear, if you are able to afford it. You also have to spend fame points to select where you spawn, if you don't know. And depending on where you spawn, it will determine how much you're going to spend. So if you spawn in, say, Sector D, or if you spawn just randomly, of course, randomly is going to be the cheapest one. This is, I didn't want to say exactly how much fame points are for each. I could actually get what they're labeled at now, but since it's subject to change, and they definitely will change it based on player feedback, I don't really want to give a confirmed number just for it to change again. So I do know, however, that the spawning randomly, it will be the closest you can get to spending as little as possible fame as you can. Then you'll be able to spawn on your shelter, then your sleeping bag. And then you'll be able to spawn next to your teammates, and that one will be the most expensive. Though, of course, you won't spawn right on them. You'll spawn at a distance where you're far enough to where you can't impact the game that they're currently going on. Say they're in a fight with a clan, you won't be able to be directly in that fight. You'll have to run to them to join the fight again. But you won't be too far to where it's going to feel like you're running across the entire map, and you get bored or angry that you can't get there fast enough.
And just keep in mind, if you happen to have no fame points when you die, there is the option to make a new character.
Yes, there is.
I feel like I will probably have no fame points a lot of times when I've died.
Yep, and I will throw out this. I actually talked to Cha0tic off stream about this, so we have a little bit of experience talking about this, but I'll bring it up again. If you create a clan, and I'm saying this because I feel like I'm going to be forced into this position, if you create a clan and you're the clan leader, you will be worth way more fame points than anyone else in your clan. And if anyone kills you, they get your fame points. Like, they get to take the gigantic let's say bounty, for example, because it's not really a bounty, but it's effectively a bounty because everyone's going to want to kill the clan leader because they get a crap ton of fame points for killing the clan leader versus just killing an average peon in their group.
Yeah, you're gonna have a big.
That's why I kind of felt like everyone's just gonna pull the thing like when they were like, "Oh, you speak American and this," and then it's gonna be like reasons to throw at me. It's like, "Oh, don't worry, they're gonna throw it at me because they're not gonna want to lose the points." But if you want to take up the mantle completely average game, I don't mind you being the leader. I don't want to be the person who loses the points and gives it to other people.
Let's just leave it to the military officer to take command of this situation. Down, give me 20.
I can't. I'm already laying down.
I said, give me 20.
No. But moving on from that, actually, completely, is there will be team events, and I mean, when I say this, I don't mean like team deathmatch. I mean, there's going to be team versus team, clan versus clan, and not only that. How it was worded, Cha0ticrob and I actually went over it and saw it, and I will get to your question as soon as I finish what I'm saying real quick. And
I
pretty
want to
much...
reply to it.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have a question too?
No, reply to what you're saying. Just keep going.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
Okay, so pretty much with this, they will actually force clans, and I say force because as they wrote it, it didn't look like you're going to have a choice. You can even ask Cha0ticrob. We both talked about this, and how they worded it didn't seem like you're going to have a choice on whether you're going to be able to join these events or not. It seems these events are going to be mandatory between the two biggest clans on each server. And it seems like there's going to be, at the same time, two big areas. Say, let's just use, for example, a giant prison and a giant town, where naturally, if you're a huge clan, you would go because you'd want the biggest places and the most room. And then in the middle would be all the smaller areas, and then around them would be other areas that all the other survivors would be, where you wouldn't want to go to these areas, but at the same time, you know where they were. Now, what was your reply?
I was just gonna, I forgot the main reply, but that aspect of the game will be amazing. I can just, I can barely imagine how awesome it's gonna be because you'll have the team feeling. It will really increase the wish that a lot of people have to play cooperatively, which is a downside of a lot of survival games that you don't play cooperatively.
Yeah.
Co-op, because you know, you can just kill your friends because that gives you a lot of free loot. And also, I want to point out that it depends a lot on you guys how good you are, because you guys have to carry me in this clan.
Okay. To add to that, just to kind of wrap this up so I can answer this question, is when you join as a team, you get 2 benefits. One is you can actually see your teammate's name hovering above their head, and if you're close to them. So you'll be able to differentiate who's your teammate and who isn't. 2, as a team, once you form a team, every fame you earn is all put together as one thing. It's not a separate. Your whole group will earn fame together as one. So theoretically, when you do this, you will actually be able to also team sponsorships to where you can actually be sponsored as a team instead of just as a solo. Now,
I just thought it.
just let me answer this question so that I don't leave them hanging too long.
Okay, yeah, go right ahead.
More Jacko do Hajla, sorry if I mispronounced that. It will be survival without building bases or with building bases. And I can answer this, it's going to be survival with fortifying bases and rebuilding already built structures, and then being able to build anywhere in the world very primitive shelters.
Like
and then I also got
like tents and whatnot.
Yeah, tents, and there's actually some wooden, like a wooden
bungalow
shelter you can put up. Yeah, it's a small shelter you can put up that you can actually put a sleeping bag in and then spawn on. Now, Sasquatch says, I'm thinking we honestly are going to need large apartment-sized buildings and things clustered together in a large town. And if you're talking about in terms of clan sizes, there's most likely going to be, like I said, one predominant town, one predominant like prison or military base, and that's where the 2 clans that lead the server are going to be. Because they definitely want it to be set up to where 2 clans are the 2 big clans of the group, the whole server. And then anyone else is just trying to survive in the world. Because obviously at one point there's going to be people who take over and become the alpha. But they don't want just one taking over. They want it to be where the world is constantly at a state of conflict, but also not to the point where everybody's killing each other. It just means pretty much think good and evil, and there's always going to be a balance between this. They want to enforce balances between this, to where there's going to be people who, if you do get too strong, there's going to be another place where other people can get to that same amount of strength and then theoretically be able to fight each other. Obviously, this may not work out because say that some people jump into a server and just start recruiting left and right and they get like most of the server and instantly take over a place. Like that could theoretically give them a huge start, and then they could just easily be like 30 man strong. And then the rest of the server either has to join up to compete against them, and then it's just like a gigantic 2-sided war between both 30 people, and then probably like 4 people running around just trying to do their own crap. But basically, they're definitely trying to force softly, let's say softly, to where it's not like you have to do it, but they're trying to make it to where your only option isn't killing a person the second you see them. They don't want you to see them as soon as they're there and be like, okay. They want you to think about your player interactions, because like I mentioned in the previous stream, there's more risk to everything you do, and there's more of a reward as well. And completely average gaming. You guys say anything?
Wouldn't it be awesome if you had sort of 2 large apartment building on like opposite sides of one town? Then, you know, you had skirmishes and road fights and urban warfare going on left, right, and center
kind of like
in
a
that
little
town.
gang battle in a town or kind of thing?
Like a what battle?
Yeah, that would be cool.
A gang battle?
Yeah.
Where you got 2
basically
gangs competing against each other for control of the town?
Yeah.
Now, my question is, do you think you'll be able to name your team?
Yes.
So
I
going
think
back
that'd be
to the leaders aspect,
Yeah.
you said that leaders will provide more fame points when they're taken out.
Yep.
My question with that is, how easy will the leaders be to identify?
Oh, that's a good
great question.
Because do you think that they'll have like a... Well, because they're not obvious... When you're not in a group, you obviously cannot look at a person and see their name. That's only if you're in a clan or a group.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe what they'll do is, instead of having it to where like maybe you just accidentally... It's probably going to be like you accidentally... Or you don't know their leader, you just kill them, and then it's like, oh shit, that's fame points. Or they could throw in events where it's like hunt down the leader of this group.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
And then also to add to that, just to let you know, in terms of clan size or group size, it is based on your intelligence, like you mentioned before, Cha0ticrob. And then also, the thing is say you actually get an illness or a debuff to your intelligence and it goes down, you'll actually have to let people go from your clan.
That sucks.
Yeah. So just let you know, careful.
More balanced, I could see them doing a situation where the maximum in your clan could be like no more than 5 of the largest clan that's on the island so far.
Like I said, I think it's going to be around 8. Because you get your base however much it's needed, and then you get whatever's added because you're intelligent. Also, reply from Max Brillo. Hey, what have they said about hiding or locking your loot while offline, and can that security equipment be looted with or without skills? Completely average. You know about the burying. Do you want to explain this?
I know about the what?
Burying your loot.
No, that was syntax. But it would be
okay. Well, then I'll explain it. I'll explain it then. Basically, you can bury your loot underground after digging a hole and putting it there. You can also store it in any container in the game, anywhere in the world. But remember, if you store it in the container, anybody can also loot that. You can also build your own chest. This is new information, by the way, for us here. You will be able to build chests and then over time upgrade those chests. And then eventually, they plan on adding different storage sizes as well. So it's not going to be, let's say, miscreated storage chest, which has, I believe, 6 to 10 slots, and it took like a couple years for them to implement that.
Don't forget, they're also planning to implement the addition of locks and whatnot.
And
I don't know if they're going to be placeable on chests.
They will be placeable to lock your chests and to lock your doors. Also, Max Brillo kind of had a follow-up here before he said, what about passing off the leader role instead of fighting for it? I'm sure you'll actually be able to do that because
when you log off.
Yeah, no, he's talking about giving the leader role to somebody else. Like, you don't want to be the leader anymore.
Yeah,
stepping down kind of thing.
Yeah, but also when you log off, there has to be a leader of the clan online if the clan is online.
Are you saying that? No, not necessarily.
Well, yeah,
because
if not, you can take them out.
Because think about it this way, all of the MMOs that are out there, if you're a part of a guild, there's always a guild leader. Whether or not that guild leader is online, he's still the guild leader.
It's pretty much how I see this is the person who's leading the clan. Then there's the second in command who can challenge the first, and then anybody can challenge the second. However, if you're offline, it's like Cha0ticrob said, it's going to fall. It's most definitely, unless for whatever reason they decide to change it, it's going to follow being able to be, this is the clan leader forever, unless challenged. But it's off. You obviously second can't challenge the first if the first isn't in the game. And then anyone can't challenge the second if the second is in the game. But they could theoretically implement a feature to where if the leader logs off, it goes to the next person, whoever is in charge, and then continue. However, at the same point, this could cause problems, because what if it goes to, like, say first and second log off, and you have someone in your group that you just added, it goes to them, and then they kick people from the group or something. Or they do something that an admin could normally do.
I would say that there's still going to be a clan leader, but like the mantle, the person you have to take out, could go down the ladder.
Oh, okay, I get what you mean. Like the next person there would actually have a bounty.
Yeah.
Am I good now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, pretty much I get what you mean.
Most of what you said.
It basically means that you'll be able to transfer who's gonna, like, how you're gonna get the bounty because the leader isn't on and you couldn't get it at that point. Like the next person in line would get it.
Yeah.
I can see a situation where that event would only happen when the leaders are actually online, where the game system would recognize the leaders.
Yeah, I could see that being.
So that when they're online, that's when the events will happen.
I definitely think that that's most likely. Though I do believe that if they did implement it, that would be a cool feature, like something that they could add that would kind of spice it up so that you can always get that bonus. But at the same time, I'm more in favor of keeping it to strictly the leaders, because it kind of adds that special uniqueness to the leader itself than just being able to pass it off to anyone. It's kind of a unique feature that would add to the game. But again, either way, I mean, I'd be fine with it. I just personally prefer it being just the clan leader. Maybe like a little bit more, maybe a little bit less than the clan leader, but then the second in command has like half of what you get for the clan leader, and then like everybody else would have like the normal amount. Maybe implement something like that, you know? Or like depending on like how well they could even eventually add in the point where how well you do in a clan determines how much you're worth for that clan, and how much you're worth is how much fame points you get for killing that person.
Well,
You know?
it could also be a situation of how many
Also-
fame points you brought to the clan before you joined, kind of.
Oh, you have one? Okay.
No, I have a new topic. So you go.
Oh, okay. I actually got a reply or a question. How much underground do you think there will be? Tunnel systems connecting the zones via secret locations will provide cover while traveling from people and the elements. This would also give reason to use torches, flashlights, night vision, and flashbangs, etc. in these areas. Also, I just want to point out that there are torches confirmed and there is night vision confirmed. Flashlights, I'm going to assume, is going to be there too, just because night vision and torches are there. But does anybody else want to come up with a theory of what they think the underground will be like, or how much underground there will be?
I have a feeling there's probably going to be a fair amount of underground bases scattered throughout the island. So,
But do you think they're going to
probably-
be connected? Like tunnels that you can go from one area to the next?
I
Underground.
doubt that. A lot of the time when games like this do underground bases, they're individual fortresses.
It's dungeon systems or cave systems, pretty much. It's kind of like a dungeon sim. You go in and it's a dungeon set up to go into that one specific area underground. I believe that's how it'll be like.
Standalone area.
I don't believe that each of these shelters are dungeon areas, because I have seen shelters lead underground through the trailers, through the streams, and it does look like they go there, but I don't think they're going to connect. And completely average.
I have 4 or 5 things. Number 1, your mic keeps popping out, but it's not a biggie. Just keep that in mind. Number 2, Puke Toucher asked if we can introduce ourselves again, which I would believe we can.
I actually can. Do you want to start, or?
Well, you start, and then I'll
Okay.
go. And then
I'm
Tiago.
SlaveToTheGames. I am a YouTuber, as well as just recently starting Twitch and Mixer for streaming, as well as streaming on YouTube. I'm kind of doing all 3 at the same time, just trying to bring out my audience. And then I'm going to pass it off to you, Completely Average Gaming, so you can go next.
Well, I'm completely average gaming. A lot of what I do is in the name, I think. Relatively average type of gaming. I am from Norway, play on YouTube. I usually do indie games with the occasional non-indie game. And I'm here for some reason.
Okay, I guess that leads on to me. I am Cha0ticrob. Hello!
Hello.
I am from Canada. I play games from all sorts of different genres, and I am extremely excited about SCUM.
And I'm actually going to grab back because I was asked. Actually, we
Get
do
out
not
again,
in
dude.
real life. I got this. Okay, wait.
No, it's not better.
I'm adjusting things.
All right, I'll take some while we wait. Will count crouching and standing constantly count as exercise? Asked Dragon Tonio. Dragon Tonio.
So doing squats, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
if you're going to treat that
actually-
as exercise or not in the game.
Can you hear me
Yes.
Yes.
as of right now? Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna try to like finish up where I then answer that question, then answer the other 2 questions I just got. No, okay, again.
Well, squats could be interesting though. I mean, it works for exercise in real life. Why shouldn't it work in a game?
Well, there are a lot of games that use exercise as a way to be able to increase attributes or stats.
Yeah.
And not one of them that I've seen will actually do a situation where you can do squats to try and get that attribute up. Most of them, it's a situation of running or lifting weights.
I guess I'm gonna try to speak again and just kind of do the arrow thing if it doesn't, you know. Basically, we don't know each other in real life in terms of off Discord, but we met each other on Discord, and that's how we kind of got together. And then, I guess by that, we do know each other now. It's just not in
Unfortunately.
person. Hey. Remember, Cha0ticrob will find you.
I'm not
And
sure.
then-
He's Canadian. He's friendly.
Okay. And then also, Lazar JP says, how can I get a key game, or must I wait for the game on the 29th? And you must wait for the game on the 29th because the current, let's see, what is it? The event that was going on where you implement your own version of a trap, and then if this concept ends up winning, you get a free key, or if they like it, you get a free key to the game, has actually ended, and I believe you find out who the winner is today or tomorrow?
Actually, I think today was the last day for entries.
Okay, today's the last day then? So let's just say that if you go to gamepires.com, you'll actually be able to contact them there, or you can go to the Reddit page of SCUM, and you'll actually see a link as you scroll down in the feed for this competition. And all you have to do is design a trap that you would like to be implemented into the game, or a weapon, and if it is chosen, if they like the idea, you will get a free game. However, other than that...
Keep in mind, with the Reddit contest, there's only one entry per person. That's not for each category, per person.
Yep, and however, all of this, it does not most likely mean that everybody will get a key. Certain people will. And then there's obviously other features where certain streamers are going to get a key because they want to be able to advertise the game. And it's going to be 4 days early, I believe is the length of this, right? Not 5, it's 4?
I had no confirmation, so I don't know.
Okay, it's either 4 or 5 days that you will have that these streamers or people who win the key will get it early to play it. And then also, I want streaming this game. We all want this. We're all gonna be Canada. Are you from Cha0ticrob? If you feel like answering.
I am from Edmonton, Alberta.
Okay, and how much will the price of this game be at the premiere on the Steam, not stream? It's going to be $20 for the early access, and then when it releases, it's going to be anywhere from $30 to $40 at max. But it will be at max $40, but they aim to be below that number.
Keep in mind the prices that are stated are in American currency, so that's USD for those that are in other regions.
Yep.
Also, frequently Place asked quite a while ago now, are there going to be random events such as chopper crashes or drone crashes, not like Team Deathmatch?
There is going to be random events such as ones that I can name, which are convoys that will show up in the world where they're obviously being protected by puppets that are actually not acting like zombies, that are actually trained with guns. But this is not going to be at release, and this will be later on in the early access, or further even more after the game is out of early access. It looks like you were smiling.
Revieri asks, to better word my question, which he asked before, which I haven't read. Will you be able to adjust gamma so that might be adjustable like people had done in Rust and DayZ to
We are actually curious about this ourselves, and we'll be soon finding out this answer through other means, and when we know this, we will answer that for you in the next stream that we do, or the stream after that. But I do know for a fact we will answer it as soon as possible, because we're curious about it ourselves, and in my opinion, feel free to share your own, I feel like they should not allow you to adjust your gamma, because I want to see the game as it is, and then be able to like turn on a flashlight or something, and not feel like I'm forced to turn up my brightness to compete with everybody else.
Don't forget that because of the whole stealth versus awareness aspect, gamma adjusting might not actually do what everyone thinks it's going to do in SCUM.
That's true, because if you're versing stealth versus awareness, you might not be able to see people anyway, so there might not be a point to doing it.
Just want to clear one thing up, because I got a question about it in the chat. The game is not going to be $40 early access. It's going to start off with $20 in early access on the 29th, and then as the game adds more details and more depth and more gameplay and more game mechanics and so on and so forth, it's going to be slowly increasing in price until you reach an absolute maximum of $40.
Keep in mind that maximum will most likely happen when the EA is done and when they do the official launch.
Yes.
Yep.
Or end of EA.
Frequently Plays.
Also, oh, okay, continue.
Frequently Plays asks, can you find loot on the floor as well as in storage crates?
You can.
Kind of.
No, you can. It's just mostly at launch. It's mostly going to be in crates and containers, etc. But it will be able to find stuff on the ground. And as the game further develops, more and more stuff will start being appear on ground shelves, etc.
Oh, okay, cool.
Dragon Tonio also asks, is there going to be mosquitoes?
Yes.
There is going to be pests in this game. So I'm assuming the mosquitoes may either be the pests, or if you're just asking if there's just going to be mosquitoes in the game just to cause illness or just as a random bug in the game, that could also be a thing. Malaria. Yeah, we're all dead.
You never know. You might randomly get that while you're wandering around.
Okay, and do you have any other questions on your side?
Hang on. Rivieri also says that early access is planned to have ended in 1 year.
At least 1 year. They can extend it and may extend it depending on community feedback and how much they're adding because of it.
What he said was it's planned to be at least a year, but they can extend it depending on the amount of features they want to add into the game and so on, and how long it will take, obviously. And based upon how it's gone so far with pushing release dates for the early access, I would imagine it's probably going to be pushed to more than a year, depending, of course, on the game's reception and the money they get in. My opinion.
And testing my voice right now to make sure that I'll be able to answer the next question that popped up is
start laughing and shaking.
Sasquatch, will you guys be doing any stream events with viewers in the future?
I would love to. Let me know.
Yeah, that would actually be great.
Hit me up in our community Discord, like our little community. Hit me up. I'll play with you. As long as we can find time to work.
I'm definitely a fan of you all joining this and to take over a server and, destroy anybody.
Restart.
I'm definitely a fan of you all joining the clan. Wait, I actually paused there.
He is really a fan of all you guys joining.
Yeah, I paused.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
I paused. That was me pausing. That was a real pause.
Fine.
Guys, it's okay. Okay, I'm saying you can join the clan so that we can server and take over everybody else.
It cut out right after you said clan.
Oh my god!
He's saying he really would love you guys to join us. He is a fan of having a community joining the us. In this case, I believe. Am I right? Can you nod? Yes.
Make for such an entertaining stream.
Why?
I'll actually throw a link to our little community in the chat for those interested. I promise, Slave's mic does not drop out when he's typing his answers.
It does not.
Most of the time.
Pheromoon.
Slash says that he'll join our clan.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're building already.
Absolutely. And Pheromoon81 asks, are G Portal official servers confirmed to be up on Brazil on August 29th? I'm going to guess this person is from Brazil.
They did say that there would be Brazilian servers up and that you will be able to rent servers on G Portal. So if that's what you mean, I'm assuming they will be up.
Do we have confirmation that we'll be able to rent from day one, or is that going to be accessible later?
Yep.
Day one.
Also, I do have to point out one thing, though.
You cut out again.
I'm going to type it in the thing so that you can say it.
Okay.
All right. While he's doing that, Puke Toucher is saying, I just hope, with all hope, that Scum doesn't have the quick ending that H1 said one Just Survive had. My biggest fear is the Asian invasion of hackers.
Oh yeah, that'd be brutal.
Yeah. Hackers in general would also be brutal. And then Rivieri, back to the topic we've touched upon before, or unless did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I have plenty of things I'd like to add to things.
Well, we can't hear you, so you don't get to.
I know! Read my question so you can tell them.
Only G Portal will be where you can rent servers. Anywhere else has been confirmed by the devs is not true. And to avoid doing this, or to avoid renting from other places than G Portal.
Yeah, so server access for renting is G Portal and G Portal only.
I'm also going to try and attempt to talk again, and hopefully not fail and answer this question.
Start
You
shaking.
shouldn't have wasted your sound saying that.
Will we be able to pick the server we join as to join and start with friends? Yes, you will be able to.
Keep in mind, the servers, I believe, are going to have a maximum of
64 people.
64 people at any given time. So
and it's first come, first serve.
That means more room will be available for other people to come in at later times of the day.
So to put it precisely, as long as you go to the same server and it's open, you can meet your friend.
Rivieri asks, states something and then asks something, so we'll get to both of them. I don't think Gamma would be too big an issue, but in active combat, not being able to see would be a big problem. Either way, hopefully they limit your ability to adjust certain things like Gamma. We touched upon this before as well, but obviously with all the skills and all the features of SCUM, there's going to be more things to help you out rather than Gamma, or to help you
agree.
Get away from the Gamma.
I think the best thing to do would be to not touch the brightness, because there's so many things implemented for your character in terms of awareness, stealth, and determining if you're going to be able to see somebody or not based on your character's perception, that it's kind of pointless to change it. You should keep the game however it is and just stay. Anyway, so I was joining that.
Yeah, I honestly think that the awareness is going to make it so the Gamma really isn't going to do much.
Steam servers tab auto join when spot is available if room is full. I am unsure of what this is. This a fact or?
It might be a question. It might be a question.
Steam servers tab auto join when spot is available if room is full. Is this a fact, Squash, or is this a question?
When it comes to servers having like maxed out servers, I believe it's going to be a first come first serve situation.
It is. It's not going to be a
situation where you go into a queue.
It's first come first serve.
Also, Rivieri, while Squatch is answering whether or not it was a question, Rivieri says, will mods be supported in SCUM for private servers?
They have plans to eventually, after the game is fully released, think about adding mods to your own servers. So that's only awesome. At the moment, no.
Yeah,
and
so
only
right now,
after, if
no
they do
guarantee.
decide to do it, it's after the game's fully released.
Mods would
and
be
they
awesome.
decide to do it if they would.
I think mods would be awesome, but you'd need some service like Steam Workshop in order to make it happen for this type of game, because you'll have to download a ton of different mods depending on which server you're going to be playing on that specific day. Or, you know.
Not only that, the reason behind this isn't just because they do want. It's basically because if they are
restart
every second word, dude.
If they're going to add mods, it's going to be after they release the game, because they want it to be a completely optimized game. Also, yes, you're good to go.
Mr. SS Gamer says, use the Steam server list to auto-join a server instead of using the in-game server list. There is a queue on Steam. I wasn't even aware of this.
I don't know if that's going to actually work or not. Because, I mean, if it works, that's great. But I do know that there is.
Yeah, you cut out right at the end there, man.
There won't be a queue base game. It's summing it up.
Okay.
Greg Barry says, so I heard there is FPS mode now. So when you select the game, will you be selecting FPS, or is it just a view?
There actually was always third person and first person.
Yeah.
It's never been just one.
And you can...
Are you talking about your view, or are you talking about event versus survival?
What?
Because I see a lot of people looking at the events and thinking the events are FPS.
I mean, either way, the whole game is third person or first person.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You can lock your servers to one or the other, or you can have it
there will
free.
be servers where you can only be first or only third.
Or servers with both,
those available,
where you can switch between.
Yeah.
Rivieri also answered Greg in the chat there. Mr. SS Gamer also says pretty sure it's server specific settings for the Steam list, but whether or not that will work in SCUM, or we can't confirm or deny. Right?
I definitely agree. We won't be able to determine.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave that open-ended for now, I'd say.
Yeah, but it would be a possible way to get into queues.
I'm gonna quickly leave and then join back, and hopefully this doesn't mess with my cameras, but hopefully this will help with actually my mic. Be right back. Temporary problem fixed.
All right.
We should start laughing.
Hello.
It seems like I was able to join fast. Were you talking crap about me again?
No, but once you left, we
should have started laughing.
Once you left, the face that blew up in my face was my face.
Okay.
That was a lot of face.
Sorry about that brief moment. Just hopefully this fixes my mic.
Yeah, it scared me.
Actually, you know, they actually are saying that nobody's having a problem with my voice in my streams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, your streams probably, because it's the Discord that keeps messing up.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
So it's in mine and Keg's streams that you'll probably have the issues.
Well, then I'm sorry that my Americanness has affected your streams.
Classic.
You were gonna say it. I beat you there. You can't say it.
Classic American. Always think about yourself first.
Okay, do we have another question, or are we free to move on to another fact?
I'm good in my end, at least. There was
I'm good on my
ton
end.
of questions.
All good over here.
There was for me as well. We had to kind of cycle through them all before we moved on.
Yeah, it's like they come in bulk.
There's going to be high risk, high reward zones. As in the airfield, military bases, etc. What?
Never mind.
Basically, in these zones, obviously, you're going to find the best clothing, the best way to find weapons, the best resources, etc. But at the same time, there's most likely going to be a lot of puppets, sentry bots, and maybe even, puppies, and maybe even Mr. Smiles, or whatever else they plan to add into the game.
There's only going to be one Mr. Smiles.
Well, I'm saying Mr. Smiles because he's most likely going to be in some place, because they did mention that Mr. Smiles is actually going to be in a specific area.
Yeah.
As a type of big boss thing. So, like I said, that's probably going to be a high-tier place to find stuff.
Well, I have a feeling Mr. Smiles is probably the one bot that they've identified as the one that's going to be guarding the event zones.
It could be, but at the same time, I can answer something going on to that, is that you cannot destroy any of the sentries, and I'm assuming Mr. Smiles as well, because he's a robot as well, with any melee weapon at all.
In other words, if you got a spear, run the hell away.
Exactly. It's not going to be like where you keep hitting it with a stick in certain games and you deal health damage, and over time that damage will accumulate and be able to kill him. You hit a robot with a stick, it's like hitting a stick on metal in real life. It's not going to do much.
You take into account armor penetration and whatnot. So you're not going to penetrate his armor at all with standard.
And one grenade will not kill him either. As we've all seen in the stream, they mentioned that you're going to need more than just a few grenades. Oh, okay, everybody stopped. I thought that everybody was going to bring something up. My bad.
Yeah.
You will also be able to craft different types of backpacks. The improvised courier backpack being the smallest backpack. The improvised,
which we saw early on in the dev stream.
Yes, and then the improvised something backpack, because I don't have the fact pulled up, but it is the third biggest backpack that you can craft. You will also, in addition to that, be able to find assault backpacks, school backpacks, regular backpacks, and maybe even pouches. There's a bunch of things they have planned for different various forms of carrying things around in the form of backpacks.
Can you just imagine finding a paper bag and then it starts raining?
Oh,
that was
one thing when it comes to crafting. In this game, unlike a lot of the other crafting games out there, almost every crafting recipe they have has multiple recipes or multiple different ingredients you could use to make them. So they have ropes, and then they also have improvised rope. and the improvised rope can be made a whole bunch of different ways.
I actually have somebody I have to reply to, and that's more Cha0ticrob.
Hello.
Again, if I did not pronounce that right, my apologies. But is it possible to kill Mr. Smiles?
Probably.
Yes, I'm assuming you're going to be able to kill Smiles, but I definitely don't think, again, it will be easy. And I don't think one person alone will be able to do it. And if it is one person alone, it will be on YouTube, because they will definitely put it up to brag.
Oh yeah,
I've actually got a comment on Mr. Smiles on mine from Max Brillo.
Yeah.
Hey, Max.
Theory, killing Mr. Smiles will be the last task right after removing the BCU from your head and escaping the island.
Okay, so there we go. He's guarding the exit, apparently.
That is Max's theory on Mr. Smiles.
Okay, well, going on this theory, it's a very plausible one. And it could be that Mr. Smiles is the last step upon leaving the island. You will have to fight him.
Do we know what happens when you leave the island?
No, I'm assuming it's going to be just kind of like a credits thing, or maybe a quick cutscene, like, you escaped!
But
escaping is the end game.
Yeah, but they've made sure to tie everything into like a sort of set world, right?
Okay.
That wouldn't it be natural to think that they've also done something similar for the end
People
game?
who don't want to escape?
No, that when you escape, there's going to be some explanation as to why you end up back there.
I think that what they would do with this is either just, oh, you escaped, but you were quickly caught again, or maybe what they do is kind of like a Call of Duty Prestige, where you escape and then you have to restart as a new character, but you get like a specific reward that you get to keep no matter how many characters you have because you escaped. Like maybe it's like a specific cosmetic to show you escaped or something that transfers between your characters, or like maybe you just get to keep the fame and then keep your character and then go and try it again, and then this time just survive or try to escape again.
What would have been super cool
Well,
is...
if you're going through the whole escape aspect, I doubt you're going to have too many fame points. You're probably going to have a lot more rebellion points, as you pointed out in one of the previous streams.
Crap, I can get cheered. But anyways, continue. There will be some sort of story-based ending. I definitely believe there will be. I definitely believe there's going to be some sort of cutscene at the end that it kind of explains what happens to the prisoners, no matter how brief it is. Because you can escape with us. It might just be as simple as, once they escaped, they traveled to different towns, and then eventually found a place to stay low in. No one ever knows what happened to them after that. We just have to assume that they made it to freedom. And wherever they are, they're happy and safe. Or maybe they're causing chaos again, and that you might see them in Season 3.
Goes to a cutscene with Tech 1 raiding their house.
Yeah, I definitely think it's not going to be a narrow ending. I think it's going to be open-ended, kind of leaving you like, did they escape successfully?
Or is it just a larger map?
That's what I was thinking, because I was actually going to...
two. You know,
I was actually going to bring up, eventually, what happens when you escape. What if, when you do that, that is the plans for the future? They will add another map that will be harder.
Possibly.
Significantly. And then maybe a third map. Like, maybe over the time of the development, they'll add, like, maybe 4 maps. And then you'll eventually, when the game comes fully released and all these maps are out, you'll be able to choose which map you want to start on.
Oh, that'd be interesting. But keep in mind, all this stuff is...
This is all theory, though, yeah. It's just us making up our own thing. This isn't confirmed.
What would have been super cool, though, is if you had, as we were touching upon earlier, with the cosmetics that you'd possibly get for escaping the island. What if you got a cosmetic that was based upon how many times you've escaped? You'd get like a higher tier, or a number, or some craziness.
Now I have something that I want to kind of interrupt, like what we're doing on the terms of escaping is. I kind of have a theory, and this could be something that we could all think about. What if the reason why these prisoners are on this island, other than just the fact that companies are going bigger and using them to experiment on, what if all these, the puppets, the robots, the bioweapon pests, etc., what if this is all literally just experimentations on how humans will survive against these things, because the outside world isn't so great as it might seem to be. Maybe outside the world, it really is in an apocalyptic setting, and the richest people are just testing on these prisoners to try and find different ways of combating what's outside in this world.
Based upon how
So similar to what you'd see in the movie Divergent kind of thing.
Pretty kind of, except for with this, like obviously we have the backstory of why the prisoners are here. They were sent for a crime. But obviously we don't know what our prisoners know beforehand. We just know that we were sent here. Now, what if there really is a problem outside? What if in certain areas of the world there is things that are starting to attack these different towns? And that's the reason why all these experiments are coming on in the guise of a TV show that will actually prevent or warn or at least give notification to the people who are watching the show in a way that doesn't directly come out and say, hey, we're under attack or something. Because this is something that a government could really do so that they could kind of pass off blame or give information. So if it does happen and it becomes something that they can't control, they did warn people. And that this show was just to help them. And the show was not only to give them entertainment, but to show them how they could combat whatever it is that is out there. It's just a theory I myself came up with that I thought might be interesting.
I'm pretty sure...
Sounds very similar to the movie Maze Runner.
Yeah.
I've never seen the movies or read the books, so I don't know if it's good or not.
I would imagine that whatever the ending is, it's going to follow along the equally sick narrative that the developers have set for the game as a whole.
Can you repeat that?
I would imagine that whatever the ending is going to be, it's going to follow along the equally sick narrative that the developers have already set for the game.
I definitely think it'd be great. Like, what if you do win, and the escape is just a lie and something that the government and big media has actually put there? Yeah, or maybe, I don't know, I didn't see it.
Guys, we have a plan.
But what if it was a lie? Like, what if they're like...
Ice air.
Yeah, what if they're like, okay, they released information that there's a way to escape, or they let people think that they'd be able to escape, because they knew that people would eventually have the skills to do this. And they knew that there'd be a certain way off this island. And they knew that prisoners would try to escape. What if at the end, instead of escaping, you literally just get killed?
Building
That's
upon,
it, like, haha.
Building
there's
upon
like turrets set up at the exit kind of thing.
I'm changing the subject to
yeah,
chat.
it's fine.
All right. So there's been a little bit of a debate going on in the chat zone over here, between Revieri and Puke Toucher. They're talking about the anti-cheat, which is going to be easy anti-cheat. But how good is easy anti-cheat?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
I'm not knowledgeable in terms of how good the Unreal Engine 4 is that they're using for this, how good C++ is, which is the language that they're using for this, and how good Easy Anti-Cheat is for this. I have to assume that they're good for what they're using it for, because
I am just going to bring something up in regards to Unreal 4 Engine. With the new RTX graphic cards that are coming out, the Unreal Engine 4 does support the ray tracing that those new graphics cards will be offering. So I don't know if they're going to have any implementation of the ray tracing in this game or not.
I have no idea.
I just wanted to add that little tidbit.
I do know that over time, the requirements for what the computers are going to need for SCUM are probably going to increase, though I don't know how much, because they do want the graphics to go up, as well as once all the gameplay elements are added and put into their advanced stage, because we've already mentioned in the previous streams, they will be at a basic level, AI included, character animations, everything, and at one point on full release, they hope to have everything in the advanced stage of how well everything looks, all the animations, how well the AI reacts, all that should be in the advanced stage of development by then. So for what you need to play the game might actually increase. That's something to keep in mind, though I don't know if it's going to be too much or not, because the thing is with games like these is over time, what you're going to need is most likely going to increase. It's just because of how much stuff is being added to the game, how much power is needed to run the game, keep it running steady, stabilize it, and then everything is going to be combating with each other about which one requires the most power, and then all this as a total whole, and how much power it consumes is going to be something you're going to have to think about.
All right, I can do a question from
okay.
chat. I wonder if there will be some sort of rating safe areas later in the future, taking away that safety feature of that zone.
What do you mean?
Like raiding a safe zone, I believe it's asking.
I do know that events will appear up in the map, and that if you have specific bases that are in an area, if the event goes there, you'll have to move from the area. And this could apply to safe zones as well. But honestly, I honestly think that they might avoid the safe zones. I think the safe zones are going to be there specifically because they're safe zones. You know?
Yeah, I agree with Slave. I doubt they have any of the events take place where a safe zone is.
Yeah, but they could. I actually do have a list of locations of where events will appear. So if you guys want to talk about it, I can actually list them off if anybody's interested. I gotta find it first. That's why I said talk about something. Answer some questions.
All right. The good thing is that you like the game and you want to not have someone hacking around you. A professor would, with a good admin, can ban people if they are hackers, regardless of anti-cheat. And then someone with a different alphabet than what we use. Hello, you. It's saying I will be able to mech AK. I don't even know what mech.
You will be able to craft weapons. Yes.
Is mech the same as craft?
I'm gonna assume he's saying make an AK.
Oh, probably.
I could be wrong though. Not trying to be sarcastic or anything.
No, but that would make sense.
MEKE or MECH?
MEK.
I just assumed that he was talking about making an AK.
Then yeah, that's probably make.
All right, yeah, you're probably right.
God, I wrote so much information that it's not even separated in categories right now, guys. You guys are gonna have to cover me while I look for this.
Have you heard of Control F?
What does Control F do?
Bind.
What? No, this is my information that I wrote down. I don't think I can do that.
Try selecting the document, Control F, and then type a relative, like a search word.
Okay, I got this. You guys keep them busy while I do this, so that we're not just.
We can just sit here and look at you, and you know.
Never mind. Everybody sit here and look at my beautiful face.
We shall all laugh at you.
Your beautiful chin, at least.
There we go. I just typed in one of the locations.
Yeah, there you go.
Can't find it, so I'll look for it manually.
Just search up safe zone.
I promise.
No, it's not safe zones. It's locations for events. I can, however, confirm there's going to be team deathmatch, and actually in one of these locations, I believe I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, so I'm just gonna say prick no, because it's not the right place. But I do know that one of the team deathmatches, the limit was 32 people in it, and since it's a team deathmatch, that means 16 people per team. So that could be the max amount, or they might even be able to increase it. Although I do think 32 is going to be the max amount for a deathmatch, because there's only a certain amount of people on the server.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Well, 32 is only half, but I don't think there's actually going to be directly a whole server-wide event. In events, I think if they do something when it comes to servers and events, it will be in the actual world and not where you actually have to go to the event.
Mm-hmm.
Can
events for the survival aspect part.
Can you actually craft high-end gear such as weapons, though? Firearms?
You will be able to, from what they've said, you will be able to craft weapons, but I think what they mean in terms of crafting weapons, I don't think you'll be able to build weapons in terms of guns from scratch. I think you'll be able to craft melee weapons. I think you'll be able to craft tools. I think you'll be able to build tools and stuff like that. But I think as far as guns come, you'll have to find them or buy them with fame points. But I believe it's only going to lead
thank you for coming back to another episode.
Fame points, if you buy them, it will most likely be in the safe zones if you can actually buy them with fame points.
With guns, I think they might end up doing a situation where if you find duct tape and you've got a scope and a rifle, but you don't have the mounting mechanism, you might be able to mount it with the duct tape.
Well, they did say you'll be able to make improvised stuff. But guys, guess what? I found it. Basically, for the events, there'll be team deathmatch, capture the flag, cargo assault, and then pretty much any other basic mode you would expect from any other game similar to this. Now,
so
also,
cargo assault, would that be similar to like a payload style, or?
Let's just assume it's kind of like that, or something similar to Search and Destroy.
Okay.
Something similar. I don't really know. I don't really play too many games that have events like this. when it comes to like I don't play games like Call of Duty, okay, or like Overwatch or stuff like that anymore. And they basically it's those types of modes that will most likely be the mainstream events, and then stuff added by the community over time. Now, the confirmed locations for the events that I found, and this isn't limited to just these. There's most likely going to be other areas. And I'm gonna botch this completely, okay? I can tell you right now, there is no way I will pronounce any of these correctly. So if I do, and any of you have been insulted by my horrible fail, I apologize very roughly. I don't know. But first one is actually, you know what? I'm actually not even gonna try to attempt this. I'm gonna give Completely Average Gaming these words, and he can say them. Solved. I do not have to worry about looking dumb.
But I am a master class of pronouncing stuff that I don't know how to pronounce, though.
There we go. You're good.
I mean, yeah. Where can I need to just open my notepad here, and I'll be good to go. All right.
Yeah, they're typed into the bottom of the Discord.
Yeah, but
I
I wanted to have the screen be right, because when I look at the chat, people won't see the things yet anymore. Anyways, here goes. Name of places where events will happen: Prigorje, Preko, Mountain Glade, Military Polygon, Tisno, Merkozy, I don't know, Waliki Tabor, and the very famous place of Umdipurkno.
I would have said
Tavern.
I would have ended up saying for the I would have said Murkowski for that one. So you could have gotten it correct. I probably, like I said, I would have botched them all. But those are all the locations that I've been able to confirm. You can actually see it in the previous stream that they had, and it'll actually list it if you pause when they're talking about the events. They'll pull out a slide and they'll actually show all of the events going on currently at that moment and where they're located at that moment. And from what it seems like there's going to be like 12 to 13 events going on at the same time. At least.
Actually, for those who are interested, I'm going to paste all the places in the chat so that, in case you weren't able to figure out what I was actually saying, at least there's your event place names.
Yeah, I'll do that as well.
Holy crap, guys. We've been streaming for over 2 hours.
Well, yeah, with our little half an hour pre-stream thing, I guess.
I just want to say
hour and a half right now.
Thank you to Rivieri for subscribing. Thank you. Very much appreciated.
Subscribe to me too.
No.
Yes.
I'm amazing.
But we've been streaming for 1 hour 41 minutes, or I have, and I started when we were actually started instead of leaving people hanging and watching the starting soon.
Hey, I was trying to build an audience, and I did. Anyways, I think we could go for 19 more minutes to end it at 2 hours, unless you guys feel like we can go longer.
Sure.
Sure, go longer, or sure 19 minutes?
18 more minutes. Sounds good. 2 hours.
Okay, so we'll go 19 more minutes, and that's when we'll end the stream. So we'll answer any last questions, and if there's no questions, I'll just bring up some facts about the game, and maybe you'll learn something new that you didn't in the previous streams or videos that either Completely Average Gaming or I, SlaveToTheGames, have released on YouTube.
Because we do videos as well.
We do.
Yeah.
We multitask.
Yeah, these guys are crazy buggers.
Yeah.
So, I don't currently have a question right now, so unless you guys do, I'll move on to another fact.
Throw it at us.
Here.
Sweet!
Blow our minds.
I'm completely happy with this. So for now, there's definitely a confirmed fee, obviously, like I said, for entering events. Except for Team Deathmatch right now, is the fame points that it costs as far as that stream that they did was 10 fame points. So, like I said, between gathering and searching things, you should get 10 fame points relatively easy, even if you don't kill or do anything dangerous. Pick some berries, eat some food, and you could jump right into a team deathmatch. I don't think it's going to be too hard to the point where, because things cost fame to join, it's going to be impossible for you to join events. But at the same time, I think that there's going to be certain events that are definitely going to cost a lot more, to where you pay more, but you can also have the chance of getting a lot more fame points or getting a specific gun or something.
What type of events do you think will cost more?
What type
small
of
clan events, probably.
I think
what?
clan events clan events or things between the most, like, say they take the 2 most famous people on the server and they do like a duel between them, or anything that really has to do with team-based fighting, I think. Maybe, okay, here we go. Here's a perfect example. Take that all out and like throw that out and say, how about one day only specific events? Like, they're like, okay, you know what? Christmas is coming. We're going to do a Christmas event. Or this is like celebratory event, or hey, just this time you can come in, spend 100 fame points, and you can get into this limited timed event.
Oh, and they make limited edition skins and whatnot.
Yeah, like limited edition stuff that you can only get from doing these events, you know?
That'll be fun.
I think that would be a good example.
Well, I wouldn't say limited edition items. I'd say probably skins or something to spoof up your character's look, but not actually give you any in-game bonuses or whatnot.
Okay.
Sure.
I am actually typing something to my chat, so somebody come up with something.
Yeah, your anima... I don't know how to pronounce that word in English. Anima Moments says, hey guys, I have a concern. The world of this game looks a bit empty, and there are not enough puppies, not puppets, and players covering the map. What is the end goal when you level up maximum? So that was a question and a concern.
Based on the storyline, the end goal of the game is to try and get off of the island. That is the storyline end goal.
I could honestly say here, like, say somebody doesn't want to escape the island, like you had said before, Completely Average Gaming, and they want an end goal while playing the game, and they just want to survive for as long as possible with their character. Say, you know what, I go into the game and I'm going to say, screw it, I don't want to escape the island. I just want my character to survive forever. And what's going to be the end game for the people who don't leave the island? What are they going to do instead of leaving that? Well, honestly here, I'm going to say at the very beginning of this game, for what it looks like, there is already more puppies, not puppets, in this game roaming the world from what I've seen from the streams than in games like DayZ or Miscreated. Obviously, you're going to hear me say this a lot, and I do say it a lot when comparing, because these are the quickest ones I can compare them to. If you guys have any others I can compare it to, gladly share it in the chat or any of my comments on YouTube, and I'll start comparing it to those as well when I check it out. It's just these personally I played and can compare it to that. I can definitely say there's more in this game at release than there is in those, but at the same time, I have the same concern. What's going to make this different than a game that already had barely anything in it before? What is going to be the PvE element where it actually feels like it's PvP VE? We want that E to be prominent. We don't want to just worry about just dealing with other players. We also want to deal with the environment, the AI that is not player controlled. And that's something that I'm worried about as well.
Having random infections, random animals attacking you because of you getting into their territory.
Well, no, like, to leave out the infections...
interesting things to add to the game.
Leave out the infection and the disease, because that's already going to be confirmed. That's already coming into the game. What I'm saying, and I believe they're saying, is on this, they want to actually feel the pressure, feel that this world is alive, that there is PvE things. It's not just stumbling across the occasional zombie. It's not just stumbling across the occasional player. It's pretty much being in a world where you're not supposed to be there. It's feeling like this place has overwhelming odds. It's feeling like this actually had a season 1 like they claim. Like, there's actually puppets already there. You should be able to run in, like, obviously, this is one of those things where, like, you should be able to run into a horde of puppets/puppies, and then, obviously, you could take on one by yourself, right? But let's say that there's more, and then there's more, and then there's more. Are you going to be able to take them all on by yourself? I want to be able to feel in this that I am going to be pressured by the PvE. Because I'm never, in any game like DayZ or Miscreated or Rust, ever felt pressured by the PvE elements. I've never felt pressured by any of the AI in those games. I've always felt the pressure from players because, yeah, you see a player and 9 out of 10 times they're going to grief you, they're going to kill you, they're going to troll you. But do you ever really feel that from most survival games like this when it comes to the AI?
There is one that's not quite out yet that I think you should probably check out. It's called Dead Matter. And from what I've seen with the trailers that they have, it's going to have a ridiculous amount of zombies inside of it. So if you're looking for that kind of situation where you want World War Z style ridiculous amount of zombies, yes.
But the thing is here is that's a different game. Right now we're talking about SCUM. People want that. in SCUM. People want an abundance of AI in SCUM. I mean, I'm sure other people would like Dead Matter. That's like, I'm not saying people won't. I'm not saying it's not a good game or it doesn't have it. I'm just saying I personally want that in SCUM, not any other game. I'm getting SCUM because I like SCUM, and I want that in SCUM.
There aren't too many people out there that are going to actually be looking at SCUM as a PvE style, where they're just going to be going after the zombies or going after.
Well, sure, obviously, but then I could counter that and say the opposite of what you just said.
Well, yeah, there are people that go for hardcore and.
But completely average gaming. It looks like you were trying to say something. I want to let you say that.
It's semi-related. Since we're talking about Dead Matter and we're talking about SCUM, I want to point out that this is one of the few times, at least in my memory, where we've had two very awesome-looking survival games hitting the market at almost the same time. It's, you know, all things relative. It's half a year between them. And they're both looking like they're going to be game-changing or genre-changing games, right? Because compared to, and I also got another suggestion as to what we can compare it to other than just DayZ all the flipping time. H1Z1.
Yeah, okay. Just survive.
7 Days to Die is another one that's pretty reference.
Yeah.
Given the amount of zombies that there are in that one.
Yeah. So, you know, based upon the amount of time we've had between...
so with Dead Matter in mind, I'm just going to let you guys know I backed it back when they were doing the Kickstarter,
Me
so
too.
I've got access to their closed alpha in a couple of months.
Me too.
Okay, well, I do not. I'm not actually looking into that. Although I have seen stuff about it. I have seen some trailers. I have read a little bit about it. However, I don't want to go too far into it. I don't want to go too far into it because if we go talking about that game, it's going to be about a different game and not about SCUM. But I'm definitely. No, I know. I'm just saying I'm definitely a fan of talking about this. I definitely would talk about it more, and I do want to talk to you about it. But if I did, it turned into a thing where it'd be longer, and then it would be more about a different game than SCUM. So if we could talk about this another time, I'm definitely up for that. And maybe when the game comes out, we can talk about that game as well, like we did here for SCUM.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so moving on.
Your anime, chat helped me out here. Your anime moments says, I understand why. Why are there no stacked hordes of puppies? Catching on. I mean, we're coining a term here.
There we go.
There is the option to sneak by the horde. I just think there should be more than two. At least by shooting, you should attack all in the area.
Exactly. They should attract an actual horde. It should feel like there's a horde. That's what I'm saying. Like, for instance, I guess you could say, since you guys brought up 7 Days to Die, that is probably the best one in terms of how many AI can appear. Because at points, like not just the seventh night, you can actually get a horde. You can actually get more than 4 zombies.
Especially when you're going to clear out a building.
Yeah, now imagine taking that many zombies that 7 Days has that can actually use it, and I'm sure the Unreal Engine 4 can handle this. Imagine putting that into SCUM. Because from what I've seen in the last trailer, it's not just a punch or anything like that. It's not just hitting them twice and they die. It's not the fact that you can stand there motionless, like in, let's say, DayZ 7 Days to Die, or just Survive, and just hit them and they won't react. Because 7 Days to Die and this game, when you sit there and stand in front of them and keep hitting them and attacking them, they will still attack you while you're attacking them. They won't just sit there and get stunned and just keep on not attacking you until you stop attacking them. They won't give you that chance. They will attack you, it'll still do damage. So that's a plus. Plus, not to mention, the combat, although some people said looked bad, is definitely better than certain games. And is, as a starting point, definitely, and I am actually interested in it. And I like it, how you can cycle and lock on, and not lock on. And your reply?
Semi-related. Riviera says, in their vaulting video, there were densely concentrated amounts of puppets. It's called puppies. It might be a rather large amount in one town.
I have to agree because, as I mentioned in, I believe, the first stream we did, the puppets are going to be located in places where they generally would be. So there may be the occasional puppet in the woods, but more than likely they're going to be in civilized areas, towns, buildings, houses, and the bigger you go in terms of the area of a population, the more puppets/puppies you're going to see. And then with this, remember, the game can also decide if the place is being boring enough, if the game's not entertaining enough for the audience, they can summon AI into the game. So there's also that to look into as well. Though whether the summoning the AI into the game at release is there or not, I cannot confirm. I do know, however, it will definitely be in the game eventually.
And it's going to be awesome. I mean, I'd love to see. I'd love to see, as you mentioned, the larger populations of puppies or puppets being concentrated in zones where the population would live. But I'd also like to see random events where you have a horde of puppies/puppets running towards you, running across the map, doing some other crazy stuff. And also, adding to that, having smaller like glitches of puppies/puppets.
I agree.
That roam around as well, not just all either horde or one single one, but variations.
With the puppies running at you thing, I could see them doing something like a last man standing, where the last person left alive in that event, where when you die, you get thrown out of the event, as if the event had ended, and the last person standing in the event is the one that gets the reward.
I could definitely see them doing a wave-based event or a survive as long as you can event, or be the last person standing event when it comes to hordes of zombies or puppies or puppets as an event. I could definitely see that being implemented because, they said, they're definitely going to implement events based on player feedback, and depending on what people are interested in, if it's asked for enough, it will soon be implemented into the game as an event. And there will be community events also, and then obviously when people get their own servers, they'll be able to determine how many zombies they'll have, /puppies/puppets. I always cycle between them. But basically, say in the official server, which is the one I'm going to be playing on for the majority of this game until it's fleshed out more and people can accurately start changing. I may pop on another one where people have their own server. But basically, if you rent your own server, you can mess with all the settings. If you want to sit there and add more zombies, more puppets, more puppies, more sentries, whatever you want, you can adjust how much is going to be in the game, whether you want none at all or if you want to have that fucking server blasted with them everywhere. Now, if somebody sits there...
keep in mind, with the server options, we don't have any confirmation as to what the options will be exactly, because we don't have access to G Portal at this time.
Except for what I just mentioned.
Yeah.
You will be able to customize the game settings itself.
Well, I'm talking about the number of zombies and whatnot.
Yeah, you will be able to do that. It is an option. It's definitely an option. It's definitely an option. It's already confirmed. You will be able to change how many zombies, puppies, puppets, sentries, etc. are in this game. You'll be able to control how fast loot responds. You'll be able to control the day and night cycle. It's think of it like a basic server-based game. You're going to be able to do those basic features. You're going to be able to change how fast you gain XP, or how fast you gain fame, or how much fame, etc. You're going to be able to change these things on your own server, assuming you rent it. Now, I'm going to say for anyone out there watching this video, right now on YouTube, or watching it in the streams, if you're going to rent a server, and you're going to sit there and you're going to put that puppy to the max, message me, because I will join that server. And I will stay in that server. I am a game fan to go into one that is populated mainly with zombies. Because then, it's not just me versus players. It's, should we work together to get the hell away from these zombies? Do we have to fight each other?
Slave. Got a new genre. PvE, or PvE VP.
There we go.
Prominence.
See, it needs to be PvE, then P.
Yeah,
there we go.
The E is the prominent, and then the P is kind of a sideline aspect.
So, I just got a reply from Squatch, and he says, before the first broadcast of Tech One's show, there was apparently over 200,000 people inhabiting the island, with some cities and settlements scattered across the island, of course. There's also an airport, a military base, some industrial areas, and a prison, and to add on to that, there's also shelters, other military bases, other regular housing settlements spread out. There's going to be camping tents you're probably going to find around the world as well for where people were in the woods. And then adding to that, if these 200,000 people, for one, are really BCU enabled, that would be amazing. But at the same time, I don't think the game would be able to handle 200,000, even if it was spread out throughout the map. Because that's a lot of numbers, and that's a lot of coding, and that's a lot of just math that goes into being able to stabilize this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to be able to play this at a decent frame per second.
Trust me, I want as many zombies as possible. But at the same time, 200,000 zombies.
Yeah, you know,
more puppies.
Z style.
Well, even with that, like I don't mind if there's that many. It's just if the game can run it with 200,000 puppies, go ahead. I'll play it. I'll go into that world. I'll go in with 200,000 puppies if the game can run it. But can the game run it at early access and then even later? That's the question. And will there really be 200,000 puppets? I don't really think so. I doubt it. But again, if there is and it can run it, I'm definitely going to be a fan of it. Trust me. And you'll definitely see a lot of me screaming through all of my streams and running from them.
Imagine playing in an event and having like a normal capture the flag event, going around a building and just running into a horde thinking that that was just a straight shot.
And completely average, you were going to say something.
Yeah, and then I read it from chat, so I'll do that instead. I expect the Antique Story says, I expect the world, I think, welcome back as well. It says, I expect the world to have more puppies and intelligent hordes. My question is, how often will you encounter a real player? Average every 5 minutes, and Fallout 76 is expected to be around 3 minutes. Do we know this?
I can actually answer this. I can't give you a specific time, however, but I can answer this. Let's put it this way. Let's think Ark. Let's think Rust. Let's think any game similar that's server-based and is strictly PvP. Let's think of it like that. How much on average did you run into a player while playing these games? How long did it take for you yourself to see somebody else while playing these? And that would be the best way to answer this, because since we can't give you an accurate time, since we haven't played the game or found any facts that have been able to tell us exactly how soon we'll find somebody, looking at the games where you've played server-based modes like Ark, Rust, H1Z1, Just Survive, DayZ, etc., I would assume that because they're relatively same about the numbers and how many people you have in there, give or take some couple 20 or so, it's really gonna probably be about the same. Probably be really similar with that. Obviously, in Ark, you'd run across more people because there's more people in that world. But at the same time, this world, I'm not sure about the... Actually, you know, if somebody could come up with the map size for Ark, the first map, you can get actually a relatively good comparison from that.
Don't forget about the awareness versus stealth aspect, which will make it, even though you might be side by side or in the same street as each other, if you're looking in opposite directions, or even if you're looking towards each other but slightly to the side, you might not even render each other in, so you might not even know that each other is there. So
basically, what I would have to say, if you're looking for strictly PvP, you could care less about the PvE or caring about other players, and you just want to strictly fight, what you need to do is put your awareness to the max so that you see everything. And then you just look around all the time wherever you run. Make sure sometimes you stare too, because if you just sit there and look past somebody, you're not going to notice them right away. It also depends on their stealth. So if you really want to hunt people down, it's going to take a little bit more work than in any of the games that I mentioned.
Just going to jump to this one. We've touched upon it before as well, or in the very, very beginning actually. Sava Nebitno? Butcher that.
Okay.
I just feel I butchered it. Also asked a question before, but that also got answered in chat. But I want to, touch upon their question. Are they gonna implement parkour in SCUM because it's needed to escape zombies, aka puppets, or we can chase or in order to chase a player? Also, welcome back, Aiden McFadden.
Do you want to answer that, or do you guys got that since we've already answered it before?
Sure. They do plan to implement parkour or something similar to that during the EA, but not at launch. And that might be linked to a skill called Climb, or it might be another skill entirely that they might add in called Acrobatics or something like that. Whereas when it comes to getting away from puppies or trying to chase people down, they do have vaulting and they do have stuff like that already implemented.
And I just have to bring up, at this time, we can accept a few more questions, but it is at the time where we're supposed to be ending the stream. And so if any of you guys have any questions you want to ask before we end this, feel free to throw them out. We'll answer them as soon as we can, and then our stream for today will be done.
Dreamcatcher, which I think is also welcome back, is asking, he or she has been asking quite a few questions, but Rivieri is all too quick with the answers. Thank you for helping out. He's asking any vehicles, and the answer to that is, of course, that vehicles will be implemented into the game, but not from the very release. So not on the 29th, but later on. There will be vehicles.
Definitely.
And what kind of vehicles have been confirmed?
Boats. The same thing with boats. They will be later on. And actually, in terms of piloting...
And horse.
No. In terms of piloting, that means planes and helicopters. Ice, if he ever hears this, and if you're watching this, and if you are here, I am sorry to confirm that they have no plans for it right now. So, the Uber business to drive to the airport, and the airport business to fly people out and have their minds, let's say, blown away, in a sense, it will not be a thing right now.
We could technically do that with a sailboat.
They will eventually mess around with what they can do with it, but it's not a thing right now, unfortunately. I was looking forward to it, really. I was really going to let my character fly that plane of freedom and death.
Cosmin Lugogi, possibly, and also possibly not. Building system, question mark?
Luigi,
maybe? Huh?
Luigi, maybe?
No. Lugogi, or something. It might be. I don't know.
Okay.
Building system.
I actually have something to bring up. If you guys are paused, it sounds like you are. All good?
Yeah, building system.
Okay. Squatch says... wait, it's a question.
Yeah.
What about the building system?
What?
Oh, okay. So basically, the building system in this is fortifying pre-existing structures in the game. Now, you will also be able to earn through events or buy through fame points keys that you will be able to use to lock these places. And at some point, you may also be able to craft keys to be able to use for locks that you place on your door. That is literally 90% of what you're going to be able to do in terms of any form of base building, any form of structure. To be precise, there really isn't base building aside from the very basic and primitive structures to be able to place around the map, which are tents, and then maybe a basic wooden wall that comes up and is on 2 sticks that I saw in the trailer, and then I'm sure you guys saw as well. There may be a upgraded version of that because of the tier system in it, but don't expect to be able to build a lot of things at all aside from basic things to just get around in or just to place a sleeping bag or protect yourself from the weather. Yeah, other than that, it's literally just fortifying. And they have no plans right now to add building to the game. Although, obviously, within time, they could change their mind depending on player feedback, but I personally, in my mind, think that what they're doing now is preferred over being able to build, say, like an Ark or Rust. Specifically Ark, because you can do a lot more in that. But to be able to build like that, it would add, like we mentioned before in the last stream, but just to fresh up again, FPS drops, rendering. There would be a lot of things that would add to the game that would actually slow the game down compared to just adding on, say, a spiked wall around a pre-existing building that's already loaded into the world. Or a trap that can actually swing through and, hit the person opening the door. That's a shout out to you, Cha0ticrob. Hope you win.
Yeah, be so
And now, to completely average game.
Dreamcatcher says, I hope they put in locks for doors and crates in buildings so you can't at least have a house or room to store loot in. So you can at least have a house or room.
They will be. It's definitely in the plans, but you're still going to be able to break their crap and then take the stuff in it.
Yeah.
And then I also have Squatch says, a lot of money has been invested in the biocontrol unit, and some of the funding has been used to breed special animal hybrids for military purposes. These breeds will be dropped onto the island from time to time, events, let's say, because of how that is worded, to give the prisoners something else to think about.
Hashtag Sasquatch
Have you guys
into the
ever
game.
seen the show Zoo?
Is that the one where the animals are starting to get smarter?
Yeah, where the animals start attacking people.
Yeah.
Sure.
The second and third season of that show, they introduce animal hybrids like chimeras, where it's different animal combinations. And they had stuff like a snake that could camouflage to the point where it was practically invisible and the size of like a living room.
Okay, well, I definitely think because they said it's animal hybrids, it's definitely a thing that could happen. I have
that would be cool.
Oh, completely average.
Super quick question from Antique Story. We talked about this before, but they're going to be adding a sort of roadmap, right? The developers?
They will eventually, yes.
Yeah. Because what Antique Story says is they should concentrate on specific goals and not on everything at once. And
Definitely.
Very valid point.
As far as it's concerned, do you have any other questions left, or?
Yes, there will be robots / Mr. Smiles, sentries.
Yep.
So in a sense, yes, robots / Titan. There's only going to be one Mr. Smiles though. So yes, you saw that right. And
I just wanted to verify with you guys. I had somebody ask me a question a while back.
Mm-hmm.
In the trailer, you know how the person's chasing somebody inside of a what's it called?
Ruin?
Like an animal hood?
Yeah.
Where it's an animal hide, yeah. Do you know if that'll be a craftable item in the game, or if that's only going to be available as something that the viewer is wearing when they come in?
I actually have to quickly interrupt because I have not switched over to my YouTube in a second, and I have some replies that I should probably reply to now, so that they actually feel like I wasn't just ignoring them. My apologies to Master and Mr. Apple.
Did you finish off the question you were asking though, Cha0tic?
Well, my response was I believe it's a craftable hood from the skin of an animal you kill. I was just wondering if either of you know like any more on that.
No, I don't. I do know that you'll be able to, but just real quick so I can actually answer these guys' questions, because it has been a little bit. I am not personally going to rent a server, Demastered, but if anyone else is, I will definitely think about joining it, depending on if it's going to be drastically different. If I do join a server that is not official, it's going to be because there's more zombies, and okay, just one sec, and will planes... There could be like turrets or sentries on the border wall to shoot them down if they get too close. I definitely agree, and I think that if they do make planes, that something like that will be integrated. But at the same time, there's probably a proximity where you can only go so far, and if you exceed this proximity with the BCU intact, it will cause you to explode. So that explains escaping without just using a plane and flying away with BCU on. And completely average. You're saying.
Just a quick question. Do anyone of you guys or anyone in chat know what the price for renting a server will be?
It's actually not confirmed right now. G-Portal is not up right now, so it's unconfirmable right now.
Yeah, and they won't give out any of that information until SCUM comes out.
Let's just say it's probably going to be monthly. I can tell you that.
No shit. But do anyone have any educated guesses on it?
$20.
I have a feeling it'll probably be more.
It could be
if
more.
It's $20,
it's probably like from 20 to 45.
If it's $20,
if you think about the graphics of the game, I have a feeling it'll probably be more just because of how much it's taking up on their servers.
If it's around $20, I will strongly consider renting a server for a while.
Yeah, $20 a month. That's not too bad.
No.
I mean, to put it in another way, I can actually correct this. If I ever get to the point where, say, on Twitch, if I get subscribed and the funds from that or the funds from donations or anything like that, if anyone specifically donates or adds to this funds to what I already have myself, because right now funds that I can spend anything on are very limited because of, the adult life.
Yeah, well, same here.
We won't go too far into that. But donations and anything that will go towards that, if it's specifically not told to spend on any certain game or something like that, I can definitely think about putting funds that I earn from donations and anything like that towards keeping a server up. And maybe, just maybe, as a group, if we all decide to stick together, we could all kind of pitch in to kind of pay for one server and all kind of manage it together.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Rivieri says, I'm gonna guess that this is dollars, Rivieri. 1.13 per slot is what I've seen on G-Portal for other games. Which would mean
that's per
about
slot. So if you've got 64 slots, that's going to be almost $100.
Yeah, that was a little more than
Flash just said about $80 to $100. So I will, if it is $80 to $100, even with all of us working together, I'll tell you, by myself, it will not happen. But with all of us working together, if donations and tips happen, it could happen, but that would mean that we would need donations and tips to keep on happening to keep this server up. So for now, I can personally say I will not be doing a server by myself, and unless, like I said, that happens, donations and stuff goes well, I probably won't be doing a server with us as a group either, unless it really works out well.
Don't forget about Twitch subs.
That's why I said Twitch subs earlier.
Oh no, you were saying with donations and
tips and subscribes. I said subscribes earlier because I don't mean subscribe for YouTube. I mean subscribe for Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch subscriptions give the streamer a little bit of extra cash.
Yeah, you get. I believe it's like 5% or something like that.
No. It's half. Half of the cost for a subscription goes to the streamer.
Okay, but either way, for now, unless you completely average gaming are planning to still manage the server at that price, or take the brunt of it, I know I won't be able to be doing anywhere near the brunt of it.
I will
same here.
Consider the aspect of it for the simple reason that I would love to have. I've never had a server before, so it's going to probably spend a month in figuring it out.
I haven't either. But basically, I can answer your question on managing it, though.
All right.
It should be relatively simple if it's anything like Arc. Whereas when you go to pull up your server to host it, you see all the settings, and it kind of has drop-down bars where you like select specifically what you want to happen in the world, and then sliders you can adjust. It will be easier. It's not like you have to write in coding or anything like that. It has a bunch of settings you'll choose from. It'll take some time, definitely, to set it up. But at the same time, I think one thing we should point out is if we do all do this, because obviously if we do it, I'm definitely going to help as much as I can, is we will need players to populate the server. We will not just make a server for us four. So if it gets to the point where Syntex and all of us decided that if it gets to about 45 people, that's like that who will actually go and do it, we will decide if we're going to do it then.
Did someone else also have a suggestion on the price? Because Rivieri says that Rust is 0.45, which would be $29, which $29 I will rent the server.
Yeah, we can do that.
Handshake promise. Come on, someone reach the hand out so we can handshake on the promise. I will rent the server if it costs $29.
I have all three of mine out.
Okay, so if it is relatively cheap, we should be able to do it. But again, like we said, we should still at least wait until we have people to populate the server before just making a server.
I just want to point out that the link I just put in the description for the Discord, that's not mine or my channel's Discord. It's the Discord of our little band of brotherhood. Me, Cha0ticrob.
I'm pretty sure I'm a girl since you called me Hermione earlier, so
yeah.
I'd like you to assume my gender.
We can also point out we have a girl. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. I'm not really Hermione, guys.
No, believe it or not. Avada Kedavra. No, I'm kidding. Sava Nebitno. Are we gonna have a workout system like in GTA? San Andreas, I'm gonna guess. SA. But we are gonna do push-ups, pull-ups, etc.
I want to say that the workout system, in terms of push-ups, pull-ups, etc., will be limited to gestures. Because, and I say this because, sure, I mean, they could add it. They could. It could be something they could add.
I'm working my thumb muscles.
You're already running across the map. swimming, climbing, and this is all working your body, and you will dynamically change muscle, fat, thin. Like you will change between all of these based on how you play your character and how much you're running around, how much you're climbing, etc. You will gain or lose muscle or fat already. So I mean,
will change the
for
look
something
of your
in
character
terms
too.
of like recreation, to where like you could be like, okay, you know what, we made a clan, we kind of want to have like a gym or something in our place so we can work out, and instead of running a place, I'm sure they could add that, but there's nothing confirmed that I know about for that.
No.
And I guess that's really all I can say for that.
That's about all I can say as well.
If we don't have any more questions, do you?
I don't.
I believe this is going to be the end of the stream. We've actually gone on a little bit longer than what we initially planned for. Not that we mind. I'm sure
Almost
we
an
all enjoy
hour.
talking about it. I definitely enjoy talking about SCUM. I know Completely Average Gaming, Cha0ticrob love talking about SCUM. This is extremely great. And why is this? Why is his head twitching?
It's a hype train. It was a hype train.
I'm not sure. If it's mine or his, I don't know. It's a trait, okay? It's a specific trait he's going to take into SCUM.
I lost a few views after the head hype train.
But remember, guys, I just got to say thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for stopping by all of our streams. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us because we will be doing more streams, definitely on this game. And in the future, hopefully we're stuck together like glue and we continue doing this for other games in the future. And then also, stop by Completely Average Gaming and Slave to the Games, myself's YouTube channel, where you'll be able to see other videos related to SCUM, and you'll also be able to see past streams as well. I personally am trying to get every single fact I can about SCUM and putting it on the channel. Obviously, between videos, everything's subject to change, and it will change over time. So take it with a grain of salt in terms of this is what it is now, but a day later, a week later, a month later, it could be completely different. At the same time, don't forget to check out some of Cha0ticrob's Twitch VODs if you're interested in what he's been doing other than SCUM. Anybody got anything else that you want to say?
I just want to say it's been awesome hanging out with you guys, and it's been a great chat community. Can one say that? People in chat have been amazing, is at least the point of it.
Yes, I love interaction with you guys.
Yeah, and
it's been so fun.
My chat has literally been blowing up with, and before we've even gotten to the questions in there, you know, other people have come in and like had the answers. Yeah,
I mean, it's great because like
it makes me happy.
To answer in another way, like sometimes we get the same questions that we've answered in a polite way a billion times. And you guys are so good at remembering what we've said, and we get regular people who have actually stopped by and keep stopping by. And like Completely Average Gaming said, they answer it for us. And we don't have to do it. I mean, we can, obviously we still do, but we look down and we can actually just type it out if we've already answered it before, or have somebody else who's been here in our streams and learn from what we've told them, and they'll tell you as well. So in terms of you guys being viewers and you guys watching our streams, I feel very appreciative that you guys are actually constantly asking questions, talking to us about the game, giving us your opinion, and telling us what you like and dislike about the game. And also, if there's something that I personally, or if they want to know, Completely Average Gaming and Cha0ticrob, that we can do to make this a little bit more interesting or a little bit better for you guys, given it's just a discussion about the games and the facts coming out, future plans, and whatever else we think should be added or not added to the game or taken out, don't forget to leave it in the comments or message us on our Discord channel, which is, I believe you released to your Twitch, right?
Me?
You released it on your Twitch or YouTube, the link to the Discord, right?
Yeah, on my YouTube.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you go in there,
set up on mine.
Yeah, if you go in there, you'll actually be able to ask questions as well and get answers, and you'll be able to get a little bit more connected with us when we're not streaming, other than messaging us on YouTube in our comment section of below each video. I do, and I know Completely Average does, reply as soon as possible to every video we have.
Yeah,
of course, sometimes we'll be streaming or playing games or something, you know, again, I have to bring up the adult life. So we may not reply right away, but we will definitely reply as soon as we can.
I would believe Cha0tic would as well. Just.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I know after this, I'm going to be looking up more facts and more things to bring up in the next video that we do. In terms of stream, or if it's just me putting out a video of my own, it doesn't really matter. There will be more information that is new, and trust me, I have a lot. I will also be listening to some podcasts as well. So I'm going to be having a lot of fun. once again, I just want to say thank you guys for stopping by. I hope every single one of you decide to follow us because we're amazing and we're going to be here from day one of SCUM and after that.
And you never know,
there will be plenty of videos.
Might actually get a key for the early streamer access.
But not Cha0ticrob. He won't get it. It'll be completely average gaming, alright. We'll get it. Not him. It's because he doesn't have a camera, okay?
Again, if I get a key to this game, I don't know what I will do. If anyone have any good suggestions as to how I'm supposed to handle that situation,
Oh, I know what I'm doing. If you get a key, run around the map. I'm gonna run all the way around. I'm gonna case out this map. I'm gonna see where everything is, so that anyone watching can see how the map looks. I'm not gonna try to survive it off because this character is gonna get wiped when the game comes out. I'm gonna try to look at every single place I can.
Yeah, no, if I get an early access key, I'm definitely going straight for that monastery. I want to check out what it looks like.
Good luck swimming.
I know, right? You never know. I might be able to see it from the edge of the lake.
Okay, completely average. Let's have you end this, what you want to say, and then just kind of call us out here.
Just thank you all so much for coming out. I hope to see you guys in the later live streams. Some subgroup of us or SyntexToxy who started this whole craziness will be like the group of us will be live streaming every day if everything goes as planned. So be sure to tune in for that.
Okay, well, I will see you guys in the next stream. I will definitely be there. So once again, like I said, as Completely Average Gaming said, as Cha0ticrob said, thank you guys for stopping by, and we hope to see you in our next stream.
Thank you.
Cha0ticrob out.
See you later, guys.
Cheerio. Oh, shoot, I started recording instead.